us. I think Kami's in the chat.
He is?
Yeah, I don't know why he keeps coming. Who invited that guy? Oh shoot, the microphone's on. Hold on.
Oh, they're right.
Yeah, man, you shouldn't let that. You shouldn't really let that bother you, man. I mean, hurting you like that.
It didn't hurt me. I mean, just because I spent $30 on decals even after he beat me.
Yeah, well, you know, bullies, man. You know what I mean?
Fine.
Hey, G, does this shirt make me look fat?
Really brings out your eyes.
Yeah, that's what people say. Neithus, does this shirt make me look fat?
No, honey, you look fine.
Oh. Yeah, G said it brings out my eyes. I'm okay with that.
It's Friday Night Live with your host,
Wolf Brother Mythos and the Freak. And now for the car wreck of a show, the Frog and the Fists. We are alive. What's happening?
All right. What is up, beautiful people? It's Wolf Brother Mythos.
I am Freak, and welcome to the show, and welcome to our special, amazing, hot dang guest, G, the Hypersapien.
Right there, yeah. Right there.
No, that's me.
Nope,
You're pointing to
sorry.
me.
Yep, I forget the backwards. the screen flip. Oi there! Oh man, we got some awesome people in the chat already, including Gina, also including G, the Hypersapien. Man, seems like a pretty cool guy in the chat. Gina says, "Time for some frost and fist fire."
Yas! Yas,
Hey.
Queen!
Dave, good to see you. Just remember, kids, GW will rip you up. I mean, it's drugs. We know that they're overpriced, but we keep paying for it because we need them in the veins.
True that. Very true.
Pop test, I didn't study. Duncan Road paints look promising. U.S. got a distributor in the form of Asmodai, and Spain, as per usual, got feck all. Well, I mean, hopefully you'll get a way of getting them eventually. I know distribution is a problem all over right now, but hopefully you guys manage to get some.
Yeah, definitely.
So Keegan and Greg are still on their way to Kansas for a wargaming convention. And yeah, they're listening while on the road. Dedication.
They're listening, but I wonder if there's a small aspect of they actually really, like, got a tablet out and like. oh.
All right, so which one is driving tonight? I know when the trip started, it would look like Greg in the driver's seat. Which one's driving now?
Nobody's driving. They're watching the show. What are you talking about? Who drives when they're watching our show? No, the car's on auto.
Oh, like in Future Cop with Van Damme, where they could get in and say, home, and the car would just drive itself home.
Yeah, come on. There's self-driving cars now.
We've got my favorite genteel barbarian, Dazrock.
Boy.
We've got your boy and my favorite nephew in the chat, Brother Oni.
Oh, God.
We've got the Commodore in high orbit with the band cannon. And if he has to whip it out.
What? Ooh.
The band cannon, to band.
Oh, yes. This is true.
What do you think I was talking about?
Oh, nothing.
We've got Brother Roxas. And X-Gear Commander says, happy freaking Friday.
Happy freaking Friday indeed. Oh.
Keegan's driving now. He complained the trunk was too cramped.
I hear that, man. Hey, fight the power.
Fight the power. Superfly, what is up, my brother? Superfly and I were chatting earlier. We definitely are doing tonight our after hobby and chat after the show's over. We're just going to log on a Zoom call. We're going to do some painting, throw some paint down. And yeah, any of our communities invited to come do some painting with us after the show. So
come join the WA.
Come join the WA.
I may, just absolutely may, just might join in for a little bit.
Oh, hey, that's awesome.
Yeah, I got to get a little painting done, and I haven't, that'd be cool.
That would be awesome. It's always good to have you around.
I am around.
Must be
man.
the shirt. Just blame the shirt.
Yeah, I think the shirt does make me look fat.
Anyway, I really am in need of the hobby this week. Something that's been going on with me for a couple of weeks. And of course, you guys see I usually push through and get some work done with the hobby by the time Friday comes around. But man, just for some reason, the last couple of weeks, my energy levels have been so low in the evenings. Like I'll daydream all day about coming home and painting. And just like by the time the evening rolls around, and sometimes even by, late afternoon, my head is swimming and bobbing and what is it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was just reading what Commodore wrote on there. Oh, excuse me, officer. It's not reckless driving. I'm just watching the Frost and Fist. Oh, I think my partner tased that guy once or several times.
Taserade.
Go on. We like tasing him. So yeah, by all means, carry on.
Greg comes back with a picture of him and Keegan with the officer that tased you
With the taser in view.
Yeah, and the officer's holding up the taser, and Greg and Keegan are doing that guy pose, like people do when they get a picture with a celebrity, like, ah!
He tased freaking ass. Oh, God.
We're in stereo. We're even more of a crime to society now.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. But yeah, just lately in the evenings, and sometimes even late afternoon, my head is swimming, and it's like, like I don't have it's not like I make a decision to go nap. It's like I start getting a little dizzy and have to set my head down before, my brain function can continue. It's been kind of crazy. I don't know what's been up with me.
Yeah, it's just, it's just the day and everything, all the stuff that you go to. I actually had the luxury of taking the day off. My boss was pretty happy with, something I did, and he said, take a day off. Like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna sit and argue with you. So yeah, I took the day off, just relaxed. Did some things around the house. Got to meet my buddy for lunch. That was pretty cool. Got to see my estranged son Oni for lunch.
Commodore says it's all those airbrush fumes. Commodore, I always make sure that there are no airbrush fumes. Whatever comes out of the brush, I huff them immediately to make sure that they're not a danger to anyone.
Right. You take one for the team, man.
Right. I make sure to filter that air through my own body. But yeah, so I do. My doctor actually has given me a referral for a sleep study because there's something out of whack with my body as far as these massive energy crashes. But I've got travel for a few weeks with work and all. I've been telling you guys how I've been doing security tours around the country. But
I'm so glad you're doing that. I really am.
Yeah. I'm hoping to really get my body sorted after that, and hopefully it'll help me restore some of my focus.
Yes, and your energy. I promise you, man. I've been on a CPAP machine for good night, almost 10 plus years, and I'll be honest with you, if my power goes out, and I still need to buy a backup battery backup system for it, but my power goes out and that thing goes down, I can't sleep. That's just that much different. My throat will hurt from all the snoring, and it's just really bad. Oh yeah, I'm so glad you're doing it, man. It makes a world of difference.
Commodore says I should wash those huffed paint fumes down with some Windex. See, exactly. If it's good enough to run through my airbrush and clean the airbrush out after it handles paint, it's got to be good for me, right?
Oh, it'll clean you out, all right.
It's just like they say on my big fat Greek wedding, just put some Windex on it. Gee, my man, what kind of hobby have you been up to, brother? What you got for a poke chop? I did, and I am so not on the ball with this. Yes, I am. I totally have this already searched and copied and in my notes now. Let me just go to my notes real quick. The Hypersapien. I'm spelling it so I can find it in my notes. Sapien skull tutorial.
Sipping on tea like Kermit.
Huh?
Sipping on tea like Kermit.
Oh, exactly. So I did see that you've been painting up some AOS stuff, and with that came a massive skull, and you put out a little tutorial on painting skulls, which I've just posted in the chat there if anyone wants to check that out.
That looks so cool. Oh yeah,
that came out real nice.
So when I was painting my Auric Warclans Cruel Boys, I basically done one thin coat of Rhinox hide, and I'm like, this big skull would be great for a tutorial to show how I do bone, and obviously it's a huge scale compared to a little skeleton, but yeah, I'm like, I may as well do a tutorial out of that or a video.
But the tone is still, the tone is still very much, relative, so that works out really well.
Yeah, just a bigger scale, but you can sort of apply that to smaller ones. Obviously, you're going to have a little less paint on your brush. But it was a really fun model to do. Being that I've started painting a few of my brothers undead, and I just started enjoying painting bones. So I thought may as well do a video. Being so big, I can sort of show on a bigger scale of how I paint bone. So yeah, that was kind of fun. I haven't done a painting video in a while, so I was sort of a bit reluctant. I know that it's there and I need to put it out. I need to do the voiceover, but
I'm glad it's back because I always enjoyed watching your painting videos. The unboxing videos are good, but your painting videos, I think, are my favorites so far.
Oh, I appreciate that, because it's like once I started doing the voiceover and stuff, it's like I got back into the groove. It's just like I try not to put too much information out. I try to keep it simple and just say, put down this base coat, but layer this, glaze this, and all that sort of stuff. My painting videos used to be a bit longer. I've tried to shorten them down now. That's why I didn't do the whole Swamp Cooler Shaman, the character from the Cruel Boys. I just did the skull. I'm probably going to do videos for like the skin tones and bits and pieces, but I know a lot of people seem to like the more short and snappy and quick sort of videos where they're not, under 20 minutes. I tried to even do it under 10 if I could, but I needed to put the information out there, and it was about 17 minutes long, but I thought that it was kind of short, but also I showed quite a lot of what you need to do.
That's good.
In that amount of time, so yeah.
Short and snappy definitely seems to the way to go nowadays. Some of our tutorials from long before when we were still a fledgling channel from years ago, which we crank out so many tutorials now. So I guess I could say back when we were doing tutorials. We were fledglings on the internet at the time with 100 subs maybe, right? And so people will still go back and comment on those tutorials like. The video too long. Nobody cares about what you think about the paint job or how you got there. Just get into the tutorial.
We didn't care.
I'm like, wow, Jesus.
Yeah, like, man.
Yeah, we didn't care. I always got in my feelings, and Freak's like, I don't care about that. I'm gonna make my intro longer next time.
I was like, don't listen to the mythos. You do good work, man. They don't like it, go somewhere else. Screw those guys.
I got another comment on, I think, a 4 or 5 year old Battle Scribe tutorial just this morning that said, you're 4 minutes in before you start the tutorial, and they're like, unacceptable. And I'm like,
dude, that's the hill you want to die on? Okay.
I'm like,
God,
I mean, if that's unacceptable, wait till he finds out that the information from 5 years ago isn't going to work at all.
Starts trying to reply it. This isn't working.
Oh, man.
Quickly goes back to the comment section, starts typing away. I gotta rush to my phone and tell him this.
They'll hear this. They'll hear from me. Who's this guy? This guy's lonely.
Hey, a view is a view, baby. Bump up that algorithm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
In fact, when that first started going around, that even a negative comment boosts your algorithm. Freak sent me that video right away. He's like, yeah, don't worry about these people that talk trash in the comment section. Yeah. We used to have this one guy. His name was Al something or other, and I remember it was funny because Freak's name is Al, and so it's just another guy named Al. And of course, our cool little musical intro at the beginning is written and performed by Freak. And it used to be longer. It used to be a full 60 seconds.
Oh, God, yeah. I was so proud of it.
One guy would come to every one of our videos to comment that our intro was too long.
Bitch and moan about the intro being so damn long. It's like, but I like it. I mean, he was right. He really wasn't wrong, but he was just, being a jerk about it.
I mean, yeah, you could be right.
Yeah.
There's a fake quote in German that says, "You're not wrong, but you're an asshole." I can't remember what movie that came from, but yeah, it was just basically a fake made-up German phrase that translates into "You're not wrong, but you're an asshole."
Yeah, that's about right.
Hellwork says, "I'll meet them on any hill they want. I like putting up tombstones." Oh, speaking of which, man, Freak is a lovable, huggable, smiley guy you see right there. But Freak also gets really pissed, especially he's definitely like that when it comes to his friends, right? And so when somebody would hurt my feelings, Freak would rush to cuss them out in the comments section, and I'm like, whoa, you can't go cussing out our viewers in the comments section. Freak is like, why the hell not? They were an asshole first. I'm like, but we're the content creator. We can't do it.
Oh. Well, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it in a very diplomatic and very professional method. Is that okay? He was like, okay, gave me the green light, and I would destroy them verbally. Just annihilate them, I mean, it was senseless. The stupid crap. It's like, come on. This is not the hill you want to die on, baby. Trust me. Fight a battle somewhere else. This is not the one you really need to worry. Not worth the calories, man. Right on.
A mate's channel had someone jump in and criticize his choice of watching a bat rep. Wow.
Jeez.
Freak turns green when he's angry. You wouldn't like him when he's angry.
No, I'm typically, like you said, I'm lovable, huggable. I'm, to know me is to love me, But when somebody's attacking, and it was a personal attack. I mean, they get really, really nasty. I'm okay. I'm okay with constructive criticism. I'm okay with crappy criticism. But when you start attacking someone like personally, for whatever reason, then yeah, I'll tell them to go F off. I mean, I will not hold back. It's not acceptable. It's not okay.
You're right. Right. Joking about how long our intro used to be. Kaiju says they're lucky that the intro is long enough for them to walk up that.
You're really right.
Hellwork says, I will for you, and I have experience doing it without vulgar language. Oh man, and Freak actually does really good about that too. You just got to calm him down first.
Yeah.
But he has this mode that he calls the classy asshole. Greg says, understand that, Freak? It's loyalty, sir. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Freak's definitely got a loyal heart when it comes to friends and family. That man will be there for you if you need him.
All the time.
What else you working on, G, my man? I know you've been working on. That was a shaman, an orc shaman from.
And before you get started, I gotta say, dude, your shirt is banging. Okay,
I love it.
Freaking awesome, damn shirt. Just say, okay, go on, continue, please.
Brought to you by DC Comics.
I love DC Comics.
Yeah.
I know it's not popular to be a DC fan now, but
Screw those guys.
I really like Marvel, but my favorite character probably is Batman. I just really relate to him in a lot of ways. So it has a lot of depth and stuff to him. But yeah, basically in April I'm gonna play my brother in Age of Sigmar, and I'm gonna use spoiler orcs. If
what?
Wait,
I'm shocked.
whoa!
I'm surprised.
You play orcs?
Yeah. I thought I'd come on a show just to break it to everyone that I actually like orcs.
I couldn't hold a straight face. Damn it! Wow, that's shocking as hell. Thank you for breaking that news to us, because you heard it. You heard it here first, guys. You heard it here on the Frost and Fist.
But yeah, I have played my Age of Sigma Iron Jaws before, but I've got a whole start collecting that is still in the box. Hasn't even. Hopefully, it still has that new plastic smell to it. Actually, got it right here. Games Workshop sponsor us. But yeah, basically, I've got 2 of them. I'm working on Iron Skull Boys, so it's like 4 hard boys. So I'm just trying to come up with this, just perfect what I've already done, really. And I did try a color. I did try Incubi Darkness. It looked good, but I just thought the amount of time I've got, it's going to make armor look good with a color is going to be a lot more harder than doing metals, because obviously you can just wash metals, you can highlight them up again and sort of make it look like. But yeah, just did bolt gun metal on all of these. You can't really see them, but yeah, this is what I'm working on. There's 4 of them, and I've been working on my skin tone. So my skin tone for Iron Jaws is leaning a little bit towards more sort of like a Hulk skin tone, like a little bit cartoony or comic booky, but I'm trying to sort of make it so there's a little bit of depth to it. It's not just bright. It has some. I'm building up from Caliban green, putting war flesh on it, and I'm using this new auric flesh, which is fairly similar to Elysian green from the Citadel range. And I'd normally put a bit of yellow in to just give it even more of a pop at the end. So I normally mix the yellow with a green, but I'm starting to even just really glaze. That's flash get yellow, so it's really bright.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm starting to glaze a little bit of that, really thin paint those, so it's just, once it goes over the green, you see the green undertone coming through, but then it's got that little bit of a kick from the yellow to it. So that's more just the brows, the tips of the ears, a little bit around the mouth, and just the areas that you want to really sort of pop.
And you always work in such thin layers that, yeah, you know, you're able to make such a vibrant color like Flash Kits work on a model like that.
Yeah, so even when I did the skull, there's a fair few layers, and you almost wonder, oh, is it worth it? But each time you layer it up on top of it, you're seeing the color underneath. You know, that's why even when I was younger, and a lot of us struggle with, if you spray a model black, you do a few thin coats, but you can still see the black coming through. So you sort of freak out and you think, oh, I need to put the paint on more heavy that hides that black. But really the trick is, if you want a smooth finish, you want to work with, and normally that's why I do a few different colors. So I'll start on the black undercoat. I'll start with Caliban green, which is a really nice dark green. And then I'll put a bit of wire flesh, which is similar, but just it's going up a little bit brighter. And then I'll start adding the auric flesh, or you can use Elysian green is what I used before this new auric flesh came out. And I normally mix it with the last color as well. Games Workshop teach us to go from one color to the other, but sometimes I find that's a huge jump, and you'll sort of, on the model, you'll see the dark and then the light, and it will sort of not look natural. So I normally mix the colors together a little bit. So as you move up each step, you're sort of using a little bit of the last color. And then sometimes when I get to the finishing stage, I might even go back a step or two and use the dark color again, just to go into those shadow areas if the shadow area has been lost a little bit. So I did that on the skull, for example. I did all these dark browns, mid browns, and then build up to those beigey bone colors. But then I jumped back and used the darkest color just to bring out like some of the detail around the nose and the gum line and stuff like that. And then I might use the mid color, which is sort of like a browny beige color. I'll glaze that in again, just to, it's like an easy way to blend and glaze them together without really working that hard in a way or stressing about it.
That's kind of cool, because that when I asked Oni how he does his, he shared with me that that's how he starts it. He always starts with a dark color, black, and he works it layer by layer, thin layer at a time, thin layer at a time. And you know, even one of my favorite YouTubers, Kenny Boucher, he does the same thing. He starts off with like a dark black or dark color, whatever, and just builds it up, because it keeps it. You know, if you keep it thin enough, you have a nice translucent, you know, you still kind of keep those shadows underneath, and then you can just slowly build it up without really messing up. So yeah, absolutely, man. Good stuff, man.
I remember your first time really. I do what now? Yeah, he's talking about you working in thin layers and starting from black and building up. I remember the first time that really astounded you is when you painted up your Imperial Fist Dreadnought from black to that vibrant yellow he did. And you were like, there's no way this started from black, because you also had that experience at first trying to cover black with yellow was, a bit rough at first.
It's almost impossible, really.
Yeah. I actually painted one of my Thunderwolf Cavalry, the wolf itself. I did exactly like what Kenny Boucher did. I started from black, which was, I was so nervous. Like, man, I don't know how I'm going to make this work. And just do little layers at a time, layer at a time. And I started, it's so cool. You start seeing it animate. You start seeing come out. Like, you really seeing the product really starting to pop the more light layers you go. It was like, this is great.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah. And there's an ugly stage as well that freaks you out, because you see the model and it's not looking how you want. You just have to trust where you're going, what it's going to look like after you do multiple layers.
I guess I'm still surprised how well it works out, because you look at this thing and like, I don't know. You look at a gray piece, right? And you're like, man, I don't know. Will this ever look, and then you're slowly starting and you're like, oh man, I'm wondering if I'm messing it up and gumming it up. And you're still adding it more, and then all of a sudden I still get surprised, like, wow, it actually works. Little at a time, like, oh my God, it actually looks great. I mean, of course it looks great because I did it. Yeah. I get super stoked, man. So,
and to Oni and G's and anyone else that does it by brush, to their credit.
Oh my God!
Like what you and I are doing it, going from black to those vibrant colors with an airbrush is it's a beautiful thing, but man, it definitely doesn't. It is so much harder to do it with a standard brush, to go to those vibrant colors, streak free, getting those smooth blends like you do, going layer by layer.
Yeah, definitely.
With a brush, it's just like hours of work. With an airbrush, it's 5 minutes and just spray, let it dry, and do it again.
Only says all brush, baby.
See a brush, boys.
The secret is mix the paint with your tears. You're not wrong.
Let's see. Hellworks, it was an online moderator for Space Marine Forum for 8 years as volunteer. So that's why he's got the as you say, the classy asshole down. When I start orcs, I blame G, says Brother Thomas as well.
I take pride in that.
There you go. No, G's got.
I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop until everyone's collecting the painted orcs. That's my mission in life.
Well, you got 2 converts here.
Yep, I'm sold, baby.
Kaiju was saying that the other day. He was like, he's starting to get the itch. And I just said, I'm just going to pretend that I had, this was because of me.
You got the itch, I got the mange, and I gave it to you, baby. Yeah.
That's it.
Sorry,
baby. Kaiju says, when you were mentioning the new plastic smell, G, Kaiju says, that new GW smell. It smells like dreams, hope, and plastic.
and an empty wallet.
Empty wallet,
yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Hellwork says, you mean it smells like a crying wallet. Kaiju says, that's the earthy undertone of sadness. See, for me, the empty wallet isn't so much as an earthy undertone. For me, it's like a burning smell, like ozone. It's like... something's on fire here. Yeah. It's all burnt out. And it's my wallet. Brother Steve from Who Took My Dice popped in to say, I scrolled too far. That's what he said.
Have a kick-ass night, gents. Awesome as always.
Thank you, my brother. Steve says just started using the airbrush to actually paint models instead of just prime. Oh man, and he's doing some
Dude.
sick transitions.
Oh man, we met up with him today. Go ahead, Ethan.
I was just gonna say I'm kind of sick that he was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna start using the airbrush. Psst, psst. Oh, they look amazing, man.
These are my test models. That's what he said. Yeah, these are my test models. Like,
Man, how I fought tooth and claw with my airbrush for a year.
bro.
Okay, I fought tooth and claw with it for a week and then put it up in the cabinet for a year. But
Left it for a year, yeah. 1 year later. All right, finally, I'll do it.
And when Hellchild said that he's going to blame me for painting orcs, no, he's going to be thanking me later. Like, why haven't I done this? Why is it taking me so long?
that's right. Oh, so Freakalicious, man, what you got for a poke shop this week?
Well, not a lot of hobbying. I played some video games a little bit. I was on call, but I did get an opportunity to play a little bit of 7 Days to Die. I did get to play some Viscera Cleanup Detail, which is a goofy, fun. It's a like a janitor simulator, I guess, if you will, and basically it's a sci-fi where you kind of clean up giblets and mess and stuff. But the thing is, it's multiplayer, so yeah, you're subject to whatever shenanigans somebody else might bring into the table, into the game. And I tell you what. Sometimes it goes great. Other times, not so much. It can be quite annoying, people doing things that just annoy the crap out of you. And here you are, you're trying to do your job, but yet they're out there annoying you constantly, making up songs and just being, silly and stupid. I'm there for work, man. I'm there to do my job, And, here we had, Brother Oni and Nina Chick. They were out there just not doing a freaking job, man. I don't know. I would have, if I were the boss, I'd have fired him.
Stealing your radio.
Still in my freaking, okay, so I have to work with music. I always work with music. When I'm doing stuff, I work with music, and I press play, and man, it's my jam. I'm kind of doing my jig and stuff, and next there goes Oni or Nina Chick, grab the radio, and they make a beeline for the furnace. Like, what are you doing? Come back with that. I want that back. No, we're tired of this crappy music. Oh, come on. And so they chuck it in there. Like, every time. They just have no taste in music. I'm just
saying. Brother Odie says, okay, mister, this is my tentacle guy.
I have no idea what he's talking about. I think Oni is a storyteller. He likes to tell stories.
He also says, "Hey, those test models were for both yours and Freak's Harvest. I am. They are gorgeous. I am greatly appreciative."
Oh no, dude, we're not dishing on it at all. We're just amazed how.
I'm just jealous as hell. That's what it is.
I mean, the OSL and it's just gorgeous pop. Yeah, I've been working at that. For a long time, and I just one color, yellow. Here you are. Got a red one, got a turquoise one, got a blue one. Like,
he's like, oh yeah, this was easy. I was like, this was easy for you. All right, so I have a couple of hobby updates this week. First one, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll do the shame first. So if you were here 2 weeks ago, I had a throwdown with Commodore. If you follow him on Instagram, he's the Commodore of Dorne. I tried, just like Bobby Flay, I challenged him on his home turf. Woo. Okay. People have been talking about how good his Imperial Fists are for a year whenever we feature his stuff on Art of the Week. So I said, you know what? I need to learn how to paint yellow. I bet you I could paint yellow as good as Commodore. So I'm going to come for his throne. And then I was immediately cast off of his throne.
You kept it warm for him.
He said, "You're in my spot." Oh, God.
Move.
Now, let me just say that a real man knows when to let go. He knows when he's defeated. Only an idiot would pay above sticker price, okay, only an idiot would pay above sticker price, spending like $13-14 for 2 decals after he's already lost. So anyways, Freak, I got some decals for you. Let me make sure pull up my other screen here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I couldn't leave it unfinished. I know one of my biggest failings was that I let time get away from me. And to be honest, I looked through my whole collection, and I think I'd given you all my Imperial Fist decals, so I didn't have any around the house.
Oh wow, that's true.
So yeah, it actually does pop way better with the decals.
Yeah.
And I went back and now that I'm not working in my hotel room, I did finish up the base, and I put some pigments and powders mixed in, so it's not just coffee color. You know, you can see a little of the reddish brown of the dirt on the base now, and you know, some of that mud and dirt is kind of, well, it's not showing too well on the camera here, but you can see kind of like a little bit of the dirtiness there and on around his boots from where I put some of the pigments on his boots and stuff like that. And you know, I decided to give it finished up, and then after I put the decals on, I gave it a good seal, and I did get my butt kicked. However, I do just want to flex, because I know Freak has struggled with this for years. I did get that nice round decal.
Does it. Yeah, always freaking does it, man.
That round decal on, and that literally took me 2 minutes. Like,
raise your hand up a little bit to block the. Go back and raise your hand up a little bit to block the board banner. Yep, and that should.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, just block that banner for a little bit.
Well, zoom. It's funny because when I was trying to show my mini last week, it went.
Yeah, the camera really tries to pull for the largest area.
Hey, almost. If I can make it.
What is really cool though is what is really cool is how different both of your styles. It's the same, obviously, chapter, same color. They're so different though. That's what was really enjoyable to watch and see.
It is.
I did it.
It is a great distinction between the two styles, you know, and there's not one greater than the other. I just love there's a difference between the two, and you know, yeah, they did a great job, man.
Yeah, that was really thrilling to me to see both on the Orc Challenge you did with Kami and the Imperial Fish Challenge I did with Kami. Is that for both, it's like same model but two very different takes. And actually, in some of our news articles, we're going to look at it with that brand new Games Workshop Avatar of Cain later.
Nice.
And then I did also, like a month ago, D from the Gamecraft Dragon had recommended maybe for my third troop option, instead of going with more guard, Mythos, it is presentable now. Thank you, my brother. Reality, I love it, man. Great job. Thank you, my brother. I was going to go with a third set of a custodian guard for my custodies. And D said maybe for that third slot, go ahead and consider some Sagittarium. And on Etsy, I found a files from, what's it called? It's called Surrogate Miniatures. And saw these cool sculpts for Sagittarium guard.
Man, they look good and they're just primed.
Custodian rifles. Thank you, man. So I got them assembled and primed this week. I really love the sculpts. You can see I've left off the heads, and the three that have where the gun is Space Marine style across the chest, I've left the arms off.
Great poses.
Yeah, except for like this one is a little funny to me. It's kind of a twinkle toes kind of pose. It looks like he's skating rather than running.
Yeah, he looked good, and then when you say that, it's
right. I know, totally messed it up. Thanks, Mythos. Never unsee
that. And this hand here was kind of a rigid, like he was running with a straight knife hand, and I thought that was kind of weird. So I chopped off his hand and gave him a dagger kind of hand. And I had to use a Space Marine combat knife because Custodes come with a Misericordia, which all the sculpts for the Misericordia, where he's holding the knife, the Misericordia knife in his hand, they all come for some reason, even though it looks like you're trying to stab somebody with it. The daggers are sheathed for some reason.
What?
Like, Yeah, all the custodies, the ones where they're wielding their knives.
That's how badass they are. They're gonna stab you with the sheath and all.
They stab you with the sheath, and it's AP -1.
Yep. That way they can just bury the sheath right into your soul, and then just pull the knife right out and continue on killing.
So
they just want to protect the blade, you know. That's all it is.
And my other hobby thing, it's kind of like hobby adjacent. Well, YouTube's a hobby, right? We'll go with loosely hobby related.
Yeah.
One of my favorite YouTube channels is called Viva La Dirt League, and my wife ordered us their new merch, so we got some of their T-shirts. But also, you guys know, especially when I'm a hobby, and I love coffee, right? And so she got us these Viva La Dirt League cool new mugs, and one of their
that's awesome.
One of their series on Viva La Dirt League is their fantasy series called Epic NPC Man.
Oh my god!
So,
welcome, adventurer.
Yeah. So you got Greg the Garlic Farmer with the Hello Adventure.
Hello, adventurer. Yes, and welcome.
You've got Rowan with his Morning.
Oh my gosh!
Nice day for fishing, ain't it?
That was
and
awesome.
then my favorite, I think my favorite in that series of Epic NPC Man are the muggers. And so it says on the back, smug 'em.
Oh my god!
Hey, what are we? We're mugs. And what do mugs do? We hold beverages.
That's awesome.
And my final hobby bit this week is, well, before I tell you this, I got to explain to you. I'm going to have a great night. G, he wants you to give him a wah. Wah! Hell yeah. My last bit of hobby thing, and before I explain this hobby thing that happened, I got to start off by informing you guys I had a terrible accident this week. Okay, I may have slipped and fell, and while I was falling, my arms were flailing about. I was really just reaching out for anything to break my fall and catch my balance. And I think as I was falling, my hand slid across my phone in a manner that hit buttons and accidentally ordered something off the internet.
Just actually picturing that. Whoa! fingers going midair.
And I may have accidentally ordered 40 guardsmen.
Oh my god!
For Imperial Guard. Yeah. I don't know how that happened. Man, though, it must be like a 1 in a million chance to fall in a way that would hit those buttons and order me Imperial Guard. That's crazy. So I guess, I mean, I can't return them now. I guess I'm committed to guardsmen here. It's crazy, though. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy, guys. And then, oh, man.
Marine, hey, welcome. You're just in time to help me do an intervention with Mythos.
And then, well, I can't have. I mean, I could. A lot of people run their Imperial Guard infantry bare bones because they're a great only 55-point troop choice. But I like for my troop choices to be capable of damage, right? And so I accidentally got some super cheap used las cannons. I mean, it's crazy. I was just like, oh man, it would be nice if these Imperial Guard I accidentally bought could do some damage, and then oh no, I slipped and wow, just the last cannons showed up, guys.
So let me ask you something there, Mr. Mythos. How many armies do you have now? Just can you at the top of your head kind of help me with that a little bit?
How many armies?
He probably doesn't know. When you don't know is
right when he's stalling right now. He's stalling right now. How many?
Okay, well, no, I'm looking over at my shelf. So I've got my white scars, and then my orcs.
2.
Sisters of Battle.
3.
We're including the ones that are like unpainted, right?
Everything, Mythos.
Everything. Okay.
Even the ones you're hiding.
4.
Oh, even the ones I'm hiding. Okay, we'll get to those. Space Wolves.
5.
Imperial Knights.
6.
Imperial Guard.
7.
Custodes.
8.
we want technicalities too, right? Okay.
You're gonna need another hand in a second. I'll put mine up. Just you can use mine.
8.
Raz's Eldar
9.
and Kalo's Dark Eldar. And Kane, they are Kane's. This is not like they're gifted to me, but Kane has asked because he doesn't have room at his place that I continue to hold on to his salamanders.
11.
Those are Kane's, though.
Oh, right. But they're under your custody.
That's not my army.
Yeah.
Okay. So 10 freaking armies, Bethos. 10.
And then, if we include AOS, Stormcast Eternal.
11.
That's it. That's all. That's all.
That's it. That's all it is.
That's all.
I thought G was like, this guy's got a problem. I gotta go.
I started getting a phone call.
I can't handle this.
It comes
Like,
up.
I mean,
Came up potential fraud.
Oh,
damn. Yeah.
I mentioned orcs. Oni says, see, Oni sees no problem. That's why Oni is my favorite nephew.
Okay, Oni. Oh God, Oni. How many armies you have? He can tell you straight up how many he's got. I take him a little mile up. No, don't send him any Necrons. No, nope. No. No. That's a no. How about now?
Oh, Steve's only got 12.
Oh wow. I think it's Steve. That's right. He plays other fantasy as well. And wow, he walks away. Yeah. So G just says, "Screw you guys. You got problems. Y'all need help. Y'all need Jesus. Y'all need whatever. You know. Just go ahead and
You need Gork and Mork.
Hellchild says, here, I thought you got robbed at the gas station, but they caught the robber. It's pump 3.
yes.
Am I counting yours? Then 14.
Oh God.
No. I told Freak that the one that I've got that I've been painting for Kane doesn't count. Okay, so you having my ultimate.
He's actually painting my what do you call it?
Your Black Templars?
My Black Templars. Yeah, he's
Okay.
got a really cool. So I said, okay, go for it. He showed me one, and I was like, all right. He goes, you want me to paint your army? All right. I'm curious to see how you do it. So, dude, I know he's gonna crush it.
Keegan, but no Necrons. Okay, but that's because Freak and I have an agreement. Okay, so I have traumatic damage from the Tau, so Freak has agreed not to play Tau, and Freak has traumatic damage from Necrons, so I have agreed not to play Necrons.
It's a thing. You know.
Do you know what you should do? You should both get the armies and have a game together. That's what I want to see. You're both going to be cringing and hating.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh God, oh Jesus, oh no, my God, you brought Necrons? Come on.
So
but you got Tau.
So far, our saltiest game we've ever played is actually on our channel. It's called the Tabletop Battle Report, or the Coffee Table Battle Report.
Yep.
It's Imperial Knight versus Imperial Knight.
Yep.
And for some reason, I think, well, you know, Freak and I have been together so long, we've got synchronized. Never mind. We've got synchronized cycles at this point. So I don't know. Something was off with both of us that day. Every one of us would every single turn, one of us would kick the other one's ass, and the other one would get on camera and be just super salty about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like, mine was like, emo salty. Yeah. I was mine was emotional damage. I was like sad emo kind of salty, and Freak was like, if you guys think in any of the skits you've seen so far that when I cut the camera to Freak after a dice roll, he's being salty, I had nothing on that game. Freak was like, I was like, so Freak, what happened on your turn?
Screw you.
He's like
screw you.
I got boned in the A. That's what happened. So these Wolfen came over here with the chaplain. I hate that guy. He's freaking ruining my life. That guy could go straight to hell. I was like, whoa.
That's exactly what I said.
I was like, the camera's rolling, right? He's like, I don't care. Go to hell.
Okay, so I went in this with like, the mindset of, okay, we're gonna have a good time, just our knights beating the crap out of each other, which is what I wanted.
Okay. It was a supplemented game.
Yes.
So he brought Imperial Fist with the knight. I brought Space Wolves with the knight. Just to clarify.
And that's what I was looking for. A good fair fight with the two big guys just going at it, punching the crap out of each other. Stupid rune priest or whatever the hell that stupid thing shows up, man. Wipes my knight. Why? Why do you even bring this? Why? He goes, tell me how you feel. Man, screw you. Screw that stupid thing. That thing can go to hell. Right there. Right there. You know what? Turn around. I'm going to go burn it. I'm going to take it outside and run over with my car.
Yes, it was worse. It was worse, Steve. It was so bad, I ended up having to delete some of the comments.
He was laughing. He was laughing the whole time. And I was like, dude, what the hell? And he was just going off. He was like, this is good footage. Like,
oh, man. So the Wolfen are great glass hammers, but their thunder hammers used to have the minus, well, I mean, it still has -1 to hit, but back then Space Wolves didn't automatically counter that, and so Wolfen were great, but they would miss half of their hits because of the thunder hammer rules, right? But the chaplain, the wolf priest, let them re-roll all hits, right? And so he's like, how much damage do you do to my knight? I said,
emotional damage.
Like, his face just went from inquisitive and like kind of hopeful to, and just was quiet for a minute, slowly turned red. Did you just say 36 damage to my knight? 36. What about my saves? Yeah, that was after your saves. He's so mad.
Why don't you even bother coming? Why? You know what? Let me just shake your hand now. Just have some pizza. Just have some pizza. Let's just forget about this crap.
He was so. See, actually, that's the kind of salty he gets now, where he's like, "Why am I even here?" Let's just do this. Let's just do this. Let me go ahead and pull my models off the table for you now. But that day was the aggressive salty.
I can't tell you how badly I just wanted to turn that damn table. I was like, oh, I'm going to be such a bad guest tonight. Oh, good Lord. I mean, honestly, because my rolls, oh man, dude, there was so much damage, including emotional. There was so much damn damage.
I don't know if I've brought the wolf into a game against you since then. I think they've been sitting on my shelf for a while.
I have not played them. I have not played Wolfen since. I have not played against them since. That could be for a good reason. Those damn Wolfen, dude, they just destroyed. It's funny because I think of Torgaradon, who has the ability to really beat the living F out of whatever, especially large tanks, knights, whatever. And he's got that capability. So many damn hits, and the amount of strength that would go into every hit. It's like, okay, this is fantastic. But his Wolfen came in, man, and just, oh my God, I'm serious. It ruined my life right that night. It ruined my freaking life. I was like, are you serious? I was just really surprised more than anything. I'm thinking I got a fighting chance. I'm gonna. What do you mean 30-something?
He had played against the Wolfen plenty of times before, but this is the first time I'd ever put the chaplain with them for full 100% reroll everything.
Hey.
He's like, you mean reroll ones? I said, no, he lets them reroll everything. What do you mean He said, what do you mean everything? Yeah, like all the ones that didn't hit.
Oh, so screw me. Okay, great. So this is we'll just keep rolling. Why don't even stop rolling. Just get the dice and just chuck them all over the place. You know what? I'll sit down and eat some more of the pizza. Let me know when you're done kicking my ass, all right? Yeah, that's good. Let's keep let's go. So I'm like, "Oh, hey Lily, how you doing? Hi kids, how y'all doing?" I'm over here because he's just, dominating the game. So I'll be over here watching TV with y'all.
So as we walk down memory lane, guys, G and you as well, chat. What is the saltiest you've ever gotten in mid-game? You're a very chill personality, but I'm sure there's got to be at least one salty story in there somewhere.
For me,
yeah.
Well, really, when I've been playing lately, most of them are one, but I have been playing my brother, and he's sort of been teaching me because he plays at hobby stores. He's been teaching me as we go a little bit, so he's probably gone a little easy on me. I did find out death guards are pretty annoying though. How they have the disgusting resilience, and the Terminators are just like walking tanks.
Yep.
You put a lot at them, but probably the saltiest is, speaking of yellow Imperial Fist, a friend, basically back in the day, a friend left school and I was still going to school, so I didn't have much funds. He was working at the time, so I did have Tau for a little bit, but mainly I'd have orcs, and sometimes because I didn't have all the models, we'd put models on the table and just say, oh, that's representing this. But he had tanks and dreadnoughts and stuff, and there I am just with some boys and some storm boys and stuff, just getting blown the hell up by the cannons. Before I even get to him, all these orcs are just, taken off the table, just taken off the table. So I don't dislike Imperial Fist, but that's why I guess I've got a little bit of a sour taste, because I just always have these flashbacks to
Yes,
like these las cannons and.
No wonder why you love the running gag with Grumpy.
Yeah, that's why he's like, oh yeah, Grumpy, I love your work. I'm like, no, we don't love your work. No.
On my base boss on his base, he's got just all these dead Imperial Fists. Sorry, Freak.
That's great. That's fantastic. That's right. Where's the mute button now? Doggone it.
But because he worked and I didn't work, I was still going to school. He would, I've got this new dreadnought or whatever, and just I don't have nothing really. So I did get Tau for a while, because I'm like, maybe Tau would be a bit better, but not really. Especially with Kroot, they would just I'd hide them in the trees and stuff, try and do some predator stuff. I'd hide them, and just the Marines knew where they were anyway, because obviously my opponent, my friend, was seeing where I moved them. Like, seeing my tactic before I'd get away with it. Tell him, look over there. Tell him, look over there for 5 minutes. Move everything.
Turns around. I can see you, right?
I guess I was never really that salty, but yeah, I just knew it's like you go into the game knowing that you're not going to win really, because you just got this really powerful stuff, and it's the same points. I have like hundreds of orcs, but I know that they're not really going to do much unless they get up close, and shooting with orcs is like some blind woman with her back turned to you trying to kill you. I'm going to shoot him. You're not even looking the right way. I'm going to shoot him.
Bang.
Oh, did I get him? You're not even looking the right way. But it was still fun games, because we used to obviously have these fairly big scale games and just chill and have fun. It's fun playing with your friends. But as I said, I went into it knowing that I'm not really going to take out his tanks and stuff. So
I think that's fair. See, for me, it's like I'm okay if I lose. I don't have a problem with losing. I have no problem with losing. I just have a problem getting shellacked at turn 1 or 2. And like with Mythos busted up with, okay, so roll 30,000 saves. Why? Oh, well, yeah, my priest, he's just, just giving him re-rolls for everything. You didn't even have that many dice when you started. It's like they're propagating. You got 40,000 more dice than you had before. I got to roll this crap? I'm serious. It literally took me forever to re-roll or roll all that. I'm like, this is stupid. Why do I even roll?
The annoying thing is you're rolling so much, but you know you're going to lose anyway.
Yes,
Like,
that's exactly it. I even told him. Yes, that's exactly what I told him. So why am I wasting my time? Odds are, and you know how I roll. Odds are I'm going to fail at, even if I fail half of these, I still lose.
Like,
What are the odds I would have?
Look, oh, I missed all of them.
Yeah, so yeah,
Failed them all.
And of course, Mythos starts the whole Atlas thing. Well, you just might be lucky. I'm looking up. Did you say I might be lucky? Did you just say?
Freak, so these are 3 damage of beast, Freak. So if you just make 7 6s,
that's right there. That crap.
7
right
6s. That's all you need.
7 freaking 6s.
Roll 7 6s.
I can't even make
all these.
I can't even make 4s. And he's telling me 6s. 7 6s? I don't ever see that on dice. That never shows up in my lifetime.
Yeah, it's just a 5-sided dice to you.
Yes, it's just exactly right. It's like the damn moon. I never see that side of the dice.
Custom made for you.
Yeah. They're all custom made for me.
No,
I never see them.
Scratch off the 6
You know,
and give it to you.
funny joke. Like, no, not a joke. It's really hurtful because it kills me all the time. So, the guys have seen it. Oni has seen it. Atlas has seen it. Mythos has seen it. I will switch dice. I will roll such dice. Same damn thing. Same damn thing. Every freaking time. And he goes, try these dice. Okay.
Me, Atlas, and Oni have decided to make a tradition that we're going to pitch in and get him new dice every birthday until he just got like a whole rotation suitcase of dice he's bringing. We're going to make sure that he's got a Crown Royal bag just filled to the brim.
Oh, just nothing but dice. Loose dice because they won't even fit in the damn containers anymore.
Freak's gonna get some mechanical dice, and then once they roll, you can like press a button, they roll again. Like, yes, I've got the 6s.
No. With my luck, they will fail, and it will roll 1s. They
will like burst in
your
face.
It'll burst into flames, and somehow I'll get electrocuted. You know, like grab it. What's wrong? Oh God, it's tasing me. Like, okay.
Freak. Hellwork says next game he wants to see some wolfing.
No.
And now he's trying to trigger you. Freak, just think.
Oh,
so
no, I don't know.
You know, he's got the Forge World Mastodon, right? It holds 24 troops. 30 troops. So he says, just think, Freak, a Mastodon plus a Wolf Priest and 13 Wolfen. God.
I'm sorry. I
Spud, my brother. He says, my capital G's. And in the case right over here, we've got a literal G.
Nope. It's actually.
God dang it!
It's actually that way. Down there. Yeah, y'all switch.
When do we switch?
Yeah, you did something. I don't know earlier, and you switched. You went from.
I didn't do it.
There to actually you were down there, and then you switched it up.
Bart Simpson. I didn't do it.
Oni says we should get a trophy case for when a set of your dice get retired.
I think we just need to melt them.
Melt them into one big dice.
Yes.
That you can just bash over people's heads.
Okay, hold on. Let me shake this. Big trash can. Yahtzee!
Bash people over the head with amalgamated melted dice. I just imagine, like, Freak, it's 36 wounds. You don't even see what he's doing. It just looks like he throws a freaking softball and bounces off my head. I fall down. It's like, the hell is that? And she holds it up, and it's just like an amalgamated, melon of dice sticking out everywhere, like a freaking half-conformed Rubik's.
And every one I'm showing ones.
How are we doing tonight? Spud, we are doing awesomely, man. I had a great lunch today with my lovely wife, my brother Freak, and my favorite nephew, who is painting some Ultramarines for me and Templars for Freak. He's awesome. This show's too sexy for his shirt. So sexy for his shirt. So sexy. It hurts.
It does hurt. It hurts. It hurts a lot. Especially thinking of damn Wolfen. Those guys.
So, yeah, in a long roundabout way that only took us an hour and 20 minutes ish. Yeah, that's our hobby update, guys. I think there was a point we were going somewhere with some of this at one point.
No, you just wanted to rub that crap in my face. So
How did we get there?
I don't know, but
it's.
I'm triggered now. I don't know.
I don't remember.
What the hell happened? How did we get to
You just were saying about having bad games and giving freak flashbacks.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know why, but apparently I decided to trigger freak tonight. I'm sure there was a reason. I'm sure there was a story that led us to this point.
I'm sure there's a therapist that he's been speaking to about that.
Could you imagine? My bill would be so like. I'm sitting down on a long couch. So freak, you look a little down, extra down more than usual today. What happened? I mean, what didn't happen, Doc? I mean, one more time, I go to the show and I was fine. I thought I forgot about it. But my buddy Mythos, he just brought it back up. He just started seeing it back in my mind, you know? Everything was like so real, like it was there. How did that make you feel? Attacked. I felt attacked, Doc. I really felt attacked.
I just came here to have a good time, and I'm really feeling so attacked right now. Well, my brother, I think the next time we play, I'm going to play orcs again because you always have a good time playing against orcs.
I don't mind playing. You know me. I have no problem. I just it's really interesting. Here's the thing. I was really blinded by the fact that we were bringing, we were taking our knights, and I was thinking, surely it's going to be a great, fair slugfest for these two guys, these two giants, these two behemoths going at it, man. We're just going to really tear ass, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. Bloodshed everywhere. No, the only bloodshed was mine. It's like, this is great. But no, I don't mind playing. It was just, I had I known that you were going to bring that god-awful mess, I probably would have been a little more prepared, I think. But, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It was a game. I shellacked. Got my ass handed to me. Got beat down. Got smoked.
I'm interested to see how the games go with these guys, because your Imperial Fists are really good at taking out vehicles. And, of course, my Imperial Guard are going to be very, very vehicle heavy.
Vehicle heavy, yeah.
And
you got a transport?
Yeah. I mean, on the way.
Yeah. That's going to be really, really good. I mean, that's going to be a lot like what Atlas does. He likes to... Although Atlas push logs a lot of his guys, don't he?
Yeah, so, I definitely plan on going different than what we've traditionally seen from Atlas.
Yeah.
I've got 40 guys, but I'm not going to go... they're probably not going to go more than that. But yeah, instead of going, like, I'm not doing any... I'm actually taking no indirect fires. No basilisks, no wyverns, no... I'm staying away from that. I'm going with direct fire tanks.
Interesting.
Like they're Lehman Russ. So.
Yeah.
And
I think it'd be a good game. I think it'd be really fantastic.
Yeah, so it's going to be a kind of a race to see, basically, if you can stop my tanks before they lay a lot of damage.
Yeah. Those Lehman Russes are no joke, man.
We need to do some Iowa versus Texas 40K. We absolutely need to do that, my brother. Spud says, so maybe next year I'm coming to the States. I need to show my 40K over there. Me and Freak are 40K. That's awesome. Man, I hope we can definitely meet up whenever, you're over here. I don't know how long you plan on being here, man, but that would be awesome.
And if you can step your foot in Texas, man, we're willing to drive a little bit.
That would be so cool.
Yes.
Yeah,
I was going to say my brother's got into Elder, so I'm looking forward to crumping some space elves.
Crumping some space elves. That's going to be cool.
I want to play AOS again. I want to start using my wood elves.
Your tree people?
Tree people. Yeah, that was such a fun thing. I need to go back and start looking at the rules and get my broken stuff. So, but yeah, man, it was really cool.
I should paint up some more of my Stormcast for whenever we do that.
Mm-hmm.
Where would be a good place to visit if I wanted to meet you guys? Oh man, you want to come to work? We can meet at Chippendales.
No, bring a raincoat. I mean, it can be kind of. I'm sorry. Go
let's
ahead.
see. Here in Texas, no, go ahead. You go first before I give the serious answer.
No. I mean, raincoats are usually they're recommended when you come to our Chippendale show.
Especially at the front row.
Front row is splash zone, especially when we do our nacho cheese act. That gets a little out of hand. It really does. We believe that our audience is really getting into it because they're reacting a lot. There's, I'm thinking, wow, this is really good. And, the rolls of quarters start flying at us, which is great because we need to pay. We
trying to knock you out with it.
Did you see that Dad Bod's stripper joint video I sent you?
That's us. I mean,
that is us. Man, when did they sneak into our workplace?
Right, and so but again, it's just it's except for Oni, when he comes in and helps out too. The refried beans portion of the show is, we may have to cut it because it's messy, a little messy.
Anyway,
your own cord chips.
Yeah, it's just a little messy.
Oh man! So the serious answer is something that might be cool for you is, I mean, you've been to Warhammer World, so I don't know. It's probably better than our version, but the Warhammer Citadel is here in Texas.
Yes, it's in Dallas.
And freaking, I would be willing to drive to Dallas, so that would be a great place to meet up with you, man.
It's kind of center. It's central to everything for you.
Yeah, and then of course another one of the guys we hang with sometimes, Gorka Marcos, is over on that end. So yeah. Whoa, man! I get the quarters going for that. I've been practicing. Oh man. Yeah. In fact, I mean, we might see we can get a couple of us together. I think a Warhammer Citadel trip would be probably cool if we could get a few of us together. Like,
that would be good.
Atlas, Oni, we could all go to. Well, I mean, if the one over the Warhammer World over in the UK is like the Mecca.
That's Mecca. That's a big one.
This is like our off-brand, like the smaller Mecca. Marcos, I just mentioned your name, my man. Yeah, so that would be cool. Yeah, Marcos, we could see him if we went over to the Citadel as well. He's in that neck of the woods.
Where's Marcos on?
The Dallas area.
Oh, sweet. Oh yeah, man, we could definitely go there.
He's DFW.
Oh right, okay. Yep.
He's down for whatever.
Down for whatever. Hell yeah, man. Yeah, no, that would actually work out really nice. I mean, Dallas is, like I said, it's more of a central lake. A lot of great places to eat, man. Oh, you were gonna. There's a place that I usually take folks when they're there. It's a well-known barbecue place. Matter of fact, it's been on the TV a lot. Called Hard Eights, and boy, that is just one of the lines are ridiculous, but it's really good barbecue. Anyway.
Spud says beers, 40K, and no pants. I'm so excited. And because you're not wearing any pants, we can tell how excited.
Exactly.
Anyways, but yeah, I'd be excited too. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, he just can't hide it, can he?
No, not at all. We just can't stand up. Just no standing up. Eye contact, debatable.
Oh man, that reminds me of I'm not sure if I've mentioned it before, but I'm vegan. And he goes to the gym. It reminds me of that Supernatural episode with Castiel, and their grandpa walks in, and they're like, "Is this how you boys get your jollies off, watching porno with angels?" We're not supposed to talk about it. I love that episode so much. It's just like your best awkward moment. Hey, my eyes are up here, freak.
I don't know, man.
Oh,
It's
man.
Spud. I mean, like,
You're kind of tall, and Spud is really tall. And, dude, I'm like at eye level.
Ethos, I think
I'm likely to lose an eye.
They're like, Ethos, I think it's for real? No, I'm not looking. Yeah. I'm not looking. Yeah, Ethos. I mean, he's got a baseball bat in there. What's happening?
Anyways, now that we've gotten, I mentioned how Supernatural had a great awkward moment of the show. Now that we've gotten to the awkward moment, it's only awkward if you let it be awkward. Freak, what do you say we take a look at some of those articles?
The size of a baby's arm. Holy crap. What?
Gee, Marcos wants to know what you're working on, my brother.
Does he have to ask? I'm working on some Auric war clans, aka orcs. Just
What?
without the space.
Marcos, he said orcs.
I'm working.
He said orcs. He's doing orcs. Just to let you know. Okay.
Yes. I thought I'd change it up and do, something a bit different.
In case he tries to do something else like orcs. So
Hey.
he's gonna go off script here, and he'll wind up probably doing something like orcs.
We joke, but this man's got some wolves.
I do.
Ooh. Really?
I have some wolves. So I did, even though you're not going to be able to see him like always, I did
You
my
do have wolves.
test scheme, which is purple, for my night wolves. Yeah, basically, if you go onto my G to Hypersapien Instagram or whatever, you'll be able to see them.
We do actually. Before we go on the news articles, Freak, right under the news articles, I posted up G's Instagram so we can take a look at that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, and while we take a look at some of these pics, G, maybe you could tell us, our amazing audience, even though all of our audience is sure to have watched you already, tell them a little bit about, who you are in the hobby, how you get started. For instance, I know you get lumped in with our Australian hobbyist friends, but you're an expat, right, who ended up in Australia.
Yeah, so basically, I've got the Spud, how he done I am a Wargamer, so that's on my channel. That's a fairly long video that explains how I got into the hobby, but the short version is I got into it as a kid in England. I eventually moved to Australia. I found a couple of friends. I was still into the hobby, painted and stuff like that. My younger brother is into it. I found a couple of friends over the years that were into it as well, so I played with them. The funny thing was, a family friend when we was little in England, the box set that you had was Orcs and Goblins. This was fantasy, Orcs and Goblins and Empire. And his dad had Empire. He had loads of big tanks and all that sort of stuff. And the son or the family friend, he was my older brother's friend, he had Orcs and Goblins. That was back when they had cardboard cutouts for some characters to save money.
That's awesome.
When you get the box sets, it's like, instead of giving them the plastic or the metal, they were metal back then. So
Right.
Obviously it cost a bit. The weight would be quite heavy. So they just gave you these like cardboard cutouts, and that was like your characters. So yeah, but I fell in love with orcs as soon as I saw them. I just
Awesome.
saw them. I fell in love with them. When I went to the hobby store, I didn't want to get orcs because I didn't want the same army as this dude, even though I kind of loved them. The way Games Workshop staff are, they saw a kid looking for an army, and it was like, pounce on me. Ended up speaking to the dude, and we came up with dark or what are they called? I can't even remember. That's how much I love them. Dark Elves. So that was who I got. But for a while, I collected, built them, had the codex or the battle tome or the army book as they call them. But I never really sort of connected with them. So after I saved some more money, we're kids back then, so money's hard to come by. I ended up getting Lizard Men.
Yeah, just have to knock off a store or something. Yeah.
ended up getting to the Lizard Men because I mean, what sort of little kid doesn't like dinosaurs and stuff like that?
That's
So
true.
I really liked Lizard Men. I would go to the library and get books on frogs and books on lizards to sort of really get myself into that mood of collecting them.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, but after a while, when I found other friends and would play with my brother and stuff, ended up getting Orcs and Goblins in the end because I'll get a few. I'll just get a couple of box sets just to sort of help me get rid of that sort of urge of loving them so much. And before I knew it, I've started getting into them more and more. And also Gorkum Walker, the game, my brother, he was a little bit older, so he worked. He got the Gorkum Walker box set, and basically I bought some of them, and I loved that game. I loved how you would have matches. You go around. I'm not sure if you guys would have played it or you've seen much of it.
We've only been in for a couple of years, so.
But basically, Gorkum Walker's all orcs and grots, and they do have bigger knobs, which are humans, but they're humans that have been stripped of all their armor and stuff, so they sort of quite savage and kind of like orcs. But you have trucks and you have a knob and you have a few boys and maybe some grots, and you basically have to cruise around this huge, obviously like the map, and you basically collect scrap. They have these scrap piles that you collect, and that's your currency. So you collect that, but you're obviously trying to kill each other and stuff while you do it. But it's one of those games that once the game's over and finished, you get some points and stuff like that you can basically upgrade or level up your characters. So say you can they have youths back then, and they have boys, and they had knobs, and you can actually level up. Yeah, no worries. You can actually level up your characters to become from a boy to a knob. So you can, I forget exactly how it works, it's been a while, but you basically say you get a point and you can add it to his strength, or you can add it to his toughness or his attack and stuff like that. So you get to the point where you can basically, level up your characters, and some characters die and stuff like that. So it's really sort of like a campaign-based style of game, which was really enjoyable and really fun. But that really got me into Space Orcs. That really got me into but collecting the 40k side of Space Orcs. But we did get Space Crusade and other games back in the day, and that had your Space Marines, your Chaos, and all that sort of stuff. So over the years, we've always been on and off with different style of Warhammer-based games. We even played Blood Bowl and stuff when we was little and stuff. And yeah, when I moved to Australia, played it with a couple of friends. We sort of drifted apart a little bit, went our separate ways. So I stopped the hobby around 17, 18 for quite a few years, and got back into it when Conquest. I went to the shops, and in the magazine section, I saw Warhammer 40,000 Conquest, and I'm like, I was telling the woman that I was seeing at the time, I'm like, this is Warhammer. That's what I used to do as a kid and stuff. And the first edition is always cheap, like a few dollars for the first one to get you in. So I got myself a couple of them. I'll get it just to sort of dabble in it again and just have something to do, something to focus on that's kind of positive. And, before I knew it, you want a few more paints, and the way they teach you don't get the underspray, the priming. So I was like using just black paint or whatever to undercoat them, and obviously the way they looked weren't that smooth and stuff. So after a while, I'm like, I'm going to need spray cans because it's just going to look crap otherwise. And then I'm going to need better brushes because they give you a crap brush. I'm going to need this and this, and then before I know it, I've got thousands of dollars of paints and Warhammer and stuff again. And I started the YouTube channel, obviously to sort of keep me motivated and to stick to the hobby.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I moved Conquest to the side because I did subscribe to it. I was getting obviously Nurgle, like Death Guard and Space Marines, and just being an orc lover after a while, I'm like, why am I sort of paying all this money for models that I'm not really sort of loving to the extent? Like painting and building is fun,
Right.
but I'm not really connecting with them. How most people, that's why you love an army, you connect with them. And yeah, so I started grabbing orcs. And yeah, before I know it, I've got all these orcs, and I decided to do the unboxings because when I first was getting back into the hobby, I wanted to look at some of the new kits. So the boys back then and the knobs were the same sculpts as what they were many years ago when I collected them.
Right.
But I'd look up on Google or YouTube unboxing of this because I wanted to have a look at the kit a little bit more. And yeah, I realized there wasn't much out for unboxing, so I thought I may as well document my hobby and getting back into it and collecting orcs. But also, if there's not much videos for it, it's sort of, I may as well do the videos if no one else is really doing them. So I started unboxing them.
It gives you a niche.
And yeah, well, that's it. And yeah, basically, I got into Age of Sigmar as well because I've always loved fantasy. That's what originally I got back, or that's what sort of really drew me, is the orcs from fantasy. So I did freak out when I saw Age of Sigmar. It's different than fantasy, and they killed off the old universe, and they killed off Grimgor, one of my favorite characters. And like, what have they done? Took me a while to get back into it and enjoy Age of Sigmar for what it is. But after a while, I just put aside the aggressions of killing Grimgor. How could you do this? But yeah, no, I like Age of Sigmar for what it is. It is a little bit more high fantasy, a little bit different. It is a little bit different from the more classic fantasy that they had. But yeah, really, obviously meeting people like yourself and other people, it's just really became a really nice thing to get back into. Like, the hobby has a lot of amazing people involved, and the YouTube side of stuff as well, like you, Chillin' Wargamers, and other people that I've connected with over the years, and just really awesome people. And
thank you.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not close enough to have games and stuff, but we can still connect like we are here, and
absolutely
we can talk about it, and everyone get excited about each other's armies and sort of living through each other.
It would be awesome if we were close enough to be able to get in games together and stuff.
Even the hobby hangouts in person would be good. I mean, we do them online sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
They're really good, but just sort of looking at each other's models. Like when I went to my brother's last weekend, he's doing an Elder Farseer, and he wanted me just to touch up the model a little bit. Like, he's not quite good at painting himself, which is pretty impressive and good to see that he's sort of leveling up. But he wanted me to do the power spear. He wanted me just to sort of blend it, edge highlight it with a brighter color and stuff. And it's stuff like that. You sort of feel a little bit, you're just like, oh, nice enough. Like, he trusts me enough to fix up these little touches of his model. So you sort of feel quite honored, I guess.
Yeah, and also it's just a really great feeling to get in that side-by-side hobby, like you're working on something together, right? Like, yeah, it is a different feel than when you're doing it digitally. Well, I love doing it digitally, but like Freak, for instance, he's got a much tighter control with the airbrush than I do. So sometimes when we hobby in person, or if we're just hanging out doing something else, like we're getting in a game, or sometimes we'll go over to his place for with our ladies, we'll have dinner together, that kind of thing. But we'll break away to the hobby room for a little bit. He'll be like, hey, bring over this, we'll work on this. And he'll show me something with the airbrush, or like I brought over a dreadnought once, and he because he has tighter control with the airbrush, he used the airbrush to pop out the runes in my dreadnought, where like the shield had like little runes engraved, and I just did not have the control to be able to make them glow. So he went and popped out every rune on my dreadnought, which was really cool. And so you're getting that, I don't know, that feeling of accomplishing something together. And it's fun when you can just... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, finish what you're saying. Yeah.
I was just going to say, and it's also fun to just be able to, like, when you want to show off, you like hand it over to your buddy. You're like, it's always kind of that weird middle ground, because like we're all afraid to like mess up each other's model, right? So like, first you'll try and stare at it like, oh, that's cool. And you're like, no, take it. You grab it. Here, take this. And it's just cool, like being able to show off stuff to each other. But anytime we walk into each other's house, now one of the first things we always do is we're trying to shove models in each other's face. Like, look what I finished.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you. As I know, you've got into it when you was a bit older, but more so even as a kid. But even now, I don't go to my local games workshop that often. Haven't probably gone there for a year, probably or more. But I always like going. The first thing I always like seeing all the models they have displayed, like the armies they have on display in the glass cabinets. Just I always loved that. You know, you see all their different armies, and even as a kid, when I wasn't the best painter and stuff, you just see them, and it just really inspires you. And when you're a kid and you don't have much money, and you're trying to build up to have those big models, you sort of look at it and you're like, wow, I can't wait till I get a graded demon or a dragon or whatever it might be. It's just so cool. Just
a couple of things for the chat here. Marcos also loved Gorka Morka, which you'd never be able to tell since his Twitch name is Gorka Marcos. He says if his group was up for it, he'd just play Gorka Morka all the time.
Nathan,
I still want to get back into it.
Do you remember that those two guys that when we first started, they really kind of pushed us a little bit, and they were really into Gorka Morka. One of his name was Callum, and the other one I forgot his name. I'm trying to remember the name of the YouTube. It was two guys, and then eventually I think they split up. The young fellas, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Weather Pig, but it was a different guy. I'm trying to remember. And you even said, "Oh wow, man!" They even named us, like they went on and on about. Oh man, I don't remember.
I remember them, and they did a podcast with Emperor's Path for a while.
Yeah,
and the name just escapes me.
Gosh, I remember they were really big in Gorka Morka. I remember he was always pushing that.
You used to get sheets in Gorka Morka as well, where you can sort of track your, you know, kind of like in rule books when they have the wounds and all that stuff, and sometimes you'd scrub out it and add your extra wound and stuff. It was just, it hasn't been around for 15, maybe even going on 20 years, but people still are really into it now. And having the new orc models, like the new truck, because I've still got some of the old models, the truck and stuff are so sort of outdated, outdated, and the scale's different. And obviously people have sort of used the new boys, the new trucks and stuff, and they're still playing it now. There's still a huge community now. I'm not, unfortunately, really a part of it. I have tried to get my brother into it, but we just, as I mentioned before, we jump from one thing to the other so much. It's like we're going to need to find time to work on Gorka Morka. But it was such a fun game. Just you feel more invested in your people. You feel connected, and like sometimes you don't want to go and fight because you might die and you might lose that model because
you might need them for the next game. Yeah,
like the games roll over, so you know you're a little bit careful sometimes of attacking, and sometimes you just go around getting the scrap, which is currency in the game, and you know sometimes you play it safe and you do that, and it's just a really unique game.
That's
It'd
cool.
be awesome if they upgrade and like bring out a new version of it.
Yeah, that would be really cool to see. I'm sure there's a huge audience for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Hellworks also loved Gorka Morka. Spud, Freak Spud said, Freak's gone for a cold shower after all the pantsless talk.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was invigorating.
Yeah, to get settled down.
Yeah, man, it's too much.
Marcos says you do great unboxing videos, G. And he also asked, what's the best thing you've eaten on Funkin' Hungry?
Ooh, good question.
Well, basically on Funkin' Hungry lately, because if you go to like a bigger place, like a burger place, you're spending $30 or more on, you know, a couple of burgers and some chips and stuff and fries or whatever. So I've been doing just like little snack things, because for the say $30 you can get a few chocolate bars, a few this and this. But my favorite stuff, I like supporting the local smaller businesses. You know, it's called Hungry Jack's here, which is Burger King in America. They had to use a different name because there was already Burger King in Australia that had the copyright.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So when it came here, they had to call it Hungry Jack's because, used a different name. But yeah, I've had that and even McDonald's, but you're going to get the views from them, but it's not always about views. Like I support the smaller local businesses, and they do much better food. And I've had a lot of this food before I started the channel, but I'll go back to these places because I want to support them. I want to show people how good the local places are compared to the big chains that tend to be, sometimes you'll have a McDonald's burger and you're like, wow, this is delicious. And then the next time you go back, it's absolutely trash.
Yes.
It's not consistent. But with the local places, you'll go there and then you'll go there again and it will be good pretty much every single time.
Right.
So,
but
one of my favorite
taste alone. Oh, go ahead. You're in the middle of thought.
One of my favorite places is just around the corner called Hungry Hen, and it's just a local chicken shop here. Local chicken.
He
shops,
doesn't mean it, babies.
He's raising chickens right now.
Yeah. Don't listen to this. But they're beef. I really like beef burgers. Like I really like good quality beef, and when it's fresh, not frozen like you would get at McDonald's. Like a fresh, you can tell the difference. It just tastes really fresh, and yeah. So any of my favorite playlist to do on my channel, he asked about my favorite. Well, he said favorites. He said favorite food or best food. But my favourite playlist is my supporting locals, supporting Adelaide local businesses. And Mother Cluckers is good. What a name,
nice.
Hey? Mother Cluckers.
That's awesome.
And
there's
Hungry Hen.
There's another one similar. It's the soup bowl pho, right?
Yeah.
But so there is a place around here at the place we call 99 Ranch, and the soup shop is called Pho King.
Yeah,
and they just say it all at once when you go there. They're like, "Welcome to fucking."
Yeah, no, that's brilliant.
It's
some of these,
not racist
when
I do that accent, by the way, because I'm Asian. So
there's another place that is called Munchies here, and obviously that's everyone knows what happens when you got the munchies.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's called Munchies. That's another good one. They have monthly specials, and a lot of these new burger places, they do unique burgers every 4 weeks. They do a different style one, and one of the menus was called Stoner's Paradise. And when they're called Munchies and Stoner's Paradise, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I know what the owners are into. So yeah,
it's called the 420 burger.
Yeah, no, they had stuff like that. Yeah, they had just crazy stuff as well that only stoners would come out with, like all this stuff just chucked onto one bed of fries and just all this crazy stuff.
Puff burger.
Yeah, some of the local places are smashing out some amazing food, which is when I first moved to Australia, and Adelaide in particular, it's the bigger states, or the more popular, like Sydney and stuff like that, would have all the crazy and good foods and stuff. But yeah, Adelaide's catching up, and there's some really good local businesses, and yeah, I love supporting them and just sharing their food, to keep them up and running, especially with the pandemic. Like I felt that I needed to almost support Hungry Hen, the one around the corner that does some pretty nice stuff. It's almost like I went there almost more than I should. I mean, I'm just suffering myself by eating all this good food and just putting on weight or whatever. But it's like, I'm gonna try and make sure that they don't go under. They could be struggling and stuff. And on Uber Eats, when I've got it before, you can tip the restaurants. So sometimes during the pandemic, I'd chuck them a little bit of money and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just, I like supporting them because that McDonald's and stuff are going to be around. I'm sure it's just exactly the same where you guys are from. Every suburb has a one, like you just drive 10 minutes or whatever, and there's another one, drive a few minutes and there's another one. Like they're just everywhere. So yeah, support the smaller guys, and that's what I like to do.
Yeah, I agree. When the pandemic was going for like the first 6-8 months, I'm Thai. That's which kind of Asian I am, and there's a place. Oh,
Thai
yes.
food is amazing, man.
Absolutely. And there was a place like 2 blocks from my house here in Kingwood called Thai Lao. Loved that
Yeah,
place. And even though they were more on the expensive side, we were
yeah,
ordering there pretty much every paycheck, almost every 2 weeks, because they had been hit hard by the the economy with the pandemic and whatnot. And so we were kind of like, I mean, it was costing us quite a bit to eat there so often or order
yeah.
from there so often. But it unfortunately didn't work out because, they ended up closing eventually anyways. But we were trying to do the same thing, like, trying to keep sustaining business.
Especially when you love food, you want to support them, but yeah, you want to sort of help them. And unfortunately, that's what I thought. Places like Hungry Hen or other places might just disappear, and that's one of your go-to places. You don't sort of want to lose them.
Especially because like their Thai food tasted like stuff my mom or my grandma or my aunt would make, and it was just the flavors were very familiar.
Yeah, like authentic stuff instead of like more for the Western palate or whatever. Like they haven't changed stuff.
Right. Marco says, I never knew what kind of Asian you were. Well, there you go, my brother. So if you had to narrow it down to one meal, one entree, one location, the best thing you ever put on your mouth for Funkin' Hungry.
Probably do Hungry Hens just because it's local and it's really good, and they have bigger burger chains that just dedicated to burgers. But Hungry Hen, yeah, as I said, out of all of them, that's the place that I was supporting through the pandemic and stuff. And even if other places may be better in certain ways, I'll just say Hungry Hen because they're local. They're just around the corner from me. It's still like a half-hour walk, but normally I'll just get Uber. But yeah, they call it the stack burger, which is just double beef, like triple cheese, double bacon.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome.
Their pickles are amazing. Then I just put some American mustard, some ketchup, and then they have, like most places, it's the burger sauce, but they call it obviously the Hungry Hens, their house sauce.
Nice.
Most of the burger sauce is really most of the burger sauces are just inspired by that Big Mac sauce, that tanginess, but a little bit of sweetness to it and stuff like that. Most places have it, and they normally sort of, I know in UK it's quite popular and it's just known as burger sauce. But yeah, most of these joints have their own house sauce or their own variation of that.
Agreed. Marco says it's so good when you find food that tastes like your family's cooking. I can't eat most enchiladas at restaurants because they don't compare to my mom's. Oh, I know that feeling. There are some places where I will try and order something like the big family thing that's usually like a staple when family gets together in my family is called gutiao. It's a Thai boat noodle soup. And we whenever I see it on the menu, of course, I always want to try and get it immediately, but like most places, it kind of falls flat because it's not like my grandmother's, or my mom's. It's just like a lot of times when you go to one of those places, it's more watered down, I guess, not as concentrated of a flavor. And I'm just like, I should have gotten this instead. I miss our Thai place. Oh, I agree. I was just talking about Thai Lao. It's so good. So good. I miss it.
Food takes you on a journey, and isn't it amazing how if it does taste like you're grown up and it tastes a certain way, so when it tastes like that, it just takes you back to all those good memories being around with your family, having food and having good times and all that sort of stuff. It's amazing because in England, obviously, bacon, like English fry up is bacon, eggs, and they have black pudding and stuff like that. And
the baked beans, right?
For some reason we've got an obsession with baked beans, which is, I know that you guys in America are a bit like, what's so good about them?
I've because I wanted to try what it would be like to have a British breakfast before, after watching so I've actually had baked beans with my breakfast a few times. Actually, I really enjoyed it.
Nice. But yeah, sometimes when I smell bacon, it needs to be a certain type of bacon, like the bacon over in Australia, sometimes they tend to have the one that doesn't have as much of the rind, the fat on it. So in England, it has the rind on it. So you get the meaty part, you get the part that has the fat, and the fat is obviously what gives you the smell and the flavor. The fat of the bacon. So when it's the right bacon and it's cooking, and you know when you smell it, it just takes me back to my grandparents and my auntie and stuff that just used to do it quite a lot when we would all sort of get together. And it just takes you back to those times where, you know, my grandparents aren't here no more, like my granddad and all that sort of stuff. And just it reminds me of those times where you're all together as a huge family. I mean, we moved to Australia, so a lot of our family's still in England. Yeah, it just takes me back to those times. There's some other food as well, but bacon and eggs cooking definitely do that for me. Take me back to childhood and stuff like that.
That's awesome. Freak, what kind of foods trigger good memories for you?
There's a bunch of them. I mean, I grew up in Honduras, so of course, the food that my grandmother and all that would make, of course, like real good. See, the flour tortillas in Honduras and the ones that are here are different. Yeah, so the ones there very thick, you know, they're almost like they're almost like a pita, not quite as thick, but you had to really thick, and they're so good. And you know, we used to eat them with cream, and oh my gosh, they're so good. And of course, we have the Turkish side of our family, and so they fix all the amazing Mediterranean style because you know they have a lot of Spanish from Spain influence, and we have all that going on. Of course, you know, I mean, I don't know
if I ever knew that you had Turkish in you.
Yeah, it's not really. It's more like the Spanish because some of my family's from Spain, and so I have a lot of that heritage there. And what's crazy is I have more British than I do Spanish. The darndest thing. So I actually have, it's like 27.9% British with 24% Spanish, Portugal, and then the rest is broken down in indigenous, and I like 0.2% Japanese and all kinds of crazy crap. So, but
your family traveled a lot.
Well, bunch of horny people is what it was. I mean, they just went globe trotting, man, and like, hey, you look cute, you know.
He said he was looking at the map of where his people are, and he said in one generation it went to like 5 or 6 different countries. Like, it's just one generation of people just doing the most.
It's crazy. Start off with West African, and then like 3.5% Nigerian, and then it broadens out to the Spanish and Portuguese, which is 25%. And then from there, it went to the British and Irish, specifically the Merseyside, UK. Like, I mean, they pinpointed to the place. It's like 27.1% heritage, and that's within my within the time span of anyway, so it was pretty crazy. So but like I said, we have a lot of different food influences and stuff. So every time, you know, my mom would cook something, it would trigger something my grandmother would cook, or vice versa. So it's rare that I would find. Now I'll tell you one place that I do get some really cool triggers when I go eat Mediterranean food. It's amazing because it's like reminds me of a lot of stuff that we've eaten. You know, it's just amazing, just the flavoring and all that. So it's really cool. Spanish.
Man, one of the time.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Well, Spain is right next to, you know, nearby Turkey, right? So there's a lot of crossover that goes with that, and so it's just man.
Next time we do lunch, let's hit up that Mediterranean place up the road.
Oh hell yeah, man, Damasi's.
Yeah, it's
place
only
is
one more exit up.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. That's just amazing place, man. It's a little pricey, but it's so good and it's healthy too. So, nom, 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 nom. So
Isn't it funny though how taste buds are connected to your memory?
yeah,
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
because you might not sort of remember it, and then you taste it, and all of a sudden it just comes back to you. It just
Yes.
all of a sudden those memories just come back that you didn't even sort of know you necessarily had, or that you would still remember that. And it just takes you almost back to the time that you had it. It's crazy.
Even stuff that doesn't like necessarily appeal to you, right?
Yeah.
So there's like there's like you know, like fish sauce, you know, that like a lot of places use, you know, use it in Vietnamese cooking, used in Chinese cooking, used in Thai cooking. There's like traditional fish sauce, which is, you know, fermented anchovies, you know, and you know, they make a sauce out of it. And I'm glad you guys made it there safely, Keegan. But then, you know, there's like this really, 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 really strong fermented fish sauce that's like ultra concentrated fish sauce that usually is still sitting in fish stock, like, you know, like still fermenting, still there with the fermenting fish, right? It's called bala, and you have to typically when they get this sauce, they have to like plunge through the layer of fermenting fish into the sauce below, mix it around a little bit, and they pull up, and that's the sauce they use. They flavor a lot of stuff. It's such a pungent smell. It's not my thing,
right?
But every time I smell it, like I'll walk into my grandma's house, she's making something, boom, I'll go back and remember like meals we were having together at grandma's house, you know, like early childhood, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Later, Greg, later, Keegan, you know, you guys be safe there in Kansas. But yeah, it's just crazy. You know, it's like not necessarily pleasant, not really my thing, but like you said, it just instantly triggers that reaction.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we've been on a food tangent for like 3-4 hours now. What do you guys say we do some hobby?
I try to stay away from it, but then Marcus is like, fucking hungry, and
I always, we do this a lot. I always enjoy our tangents over into the food. But now that we've had some great food experience here in the chat, you know, I would really like the opportunity to show off some of your work over on your Instagram page.
Yep, I've got it ready to go.
You are the man. And I'll let you gents talk about this amazing work while I disappear from the screen for a minute.
All right. So this was, I think, what you just showed. No, I don't. Show me. Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's the purple one with the top knot is the Space Wolf. That basically, when I was younger and I was talking about the Imperial Guard, the guy that played Imperial Guard and stuff like that, I thought, maybe I'll get into Space Marines. Right. Space Wolves really sort of, I'm just sort of connected with. I really like Native American cultures. I like wolves and that spiritual sort of side of stuff. So I thought I'd do Space Wolves, but I always had this idea of Night Wolves, and the armor is really dark but purple, has that purple.
Yeah, I like that.
To it.
Very clean, man. Yeah.
And yeah, sort of, so I revisited that. I wanted to do that idea that they sort of hunt at night more and a little bit different than your regular Space Wolves. And one reason that I added some chaos to it, I loved my top knots, but also because I didn't really have much money back then. I was still a kid and stuff. I used some of my chaos miniatures and just sort of used them as wolves. So I started painting like Death Guard as purple. Like I'll get rid of the green Death Guard and just splash on some purple. And so I thought it'd be funny as a little bit of a nod to that, use a little bit of chaos bits. So I've got some other chaos bits that I'm gonna put into my Space Wolves eventually.
You really
Like
went into
just
the detail. I really like how you've got the blood running down, and I mean you've got the handle uh, weathering. I mean everything. It's all there. It's all actually well done. Gems are really look good. They look crisp. This is clean work.
you notice how I was talking about earlier on, really thin layers
Right,
to get like that smoothness in the
right.
armor and even in the pelt and the hair as
Mm,
well. The hair I've done the same where I built up from like a darker version of what you see the main hair
right.
and just build up from that to the
Oh, I
light
see
color
it.
and just
Yeah,
so just do really thin layers and and then I've got like a sort of a bony sort of color that I've gone and
right.
just sort of done the strands of hair to separate them a little bit more. And the face I'm fairly happy with as well. It's just just it was fairly different as well because I'm so used to painting orcs. It's fairly different. They're smaller scale, but
Right.
also yeah, the armor is just it's different as well from building up with thin layers. I've gone from a dark purple and start adding like a lighter color. Yeah, that's my beast snaggers. So he's still not
Love
finished,
that. Gosh,
unfortunately.
really
The
good though.
skin tone is so good.
Yeah. Oh man. So what do you start off with? What color you start off with these guys? I'm
I think
asking
it
for a
was like
friend. I'm
Was.
just saying.
I think it was like Wazdaka red, which is like a red but a little bit more of a pastel sort of color, like where it's less vibrant.
Okay.
And also use normally a bit of Bugman's Glow, which is like the darkest Citadel skin tone. It's like quite a reddish, browny almost skin tone, and use some of that into the. So normally go over the whole, like all the skin with that color, and then just start building up, and that's that sort of Elysian green. And then I normally use a darker. Sometimes I use Wireflesh, Castellan. There's another one that I was trying out with this. It was like a Vulcan green or something. Yeah, Vulcan green. But yeah,
I'm
it's sort of
familiar with that one.
yeah, it's a newer. I believe it's a newer paint. But yeah, basically you get your sort of darker skin tone. I mean, as you guys know, I paint so many orcs. I try to come up with all different ways of doing green. It's almost kind of fun as well to try out a different green. Like, oh, let's try a different combination of colors. But even with this one, I build up to the Elysian green and then add that little tiny bit of yellow to it just to give it a bit of a pop. But then with my Auric War clans, the Age of Sigma ones, I'm doing them a little bit brighter color, so the combination is a little bit different.
Oh my
Yeah, some.
gosh. That's so cool.
Oh wow, that dried out face.
Damn.
Man, you've got that leathery, like almost mummified skin
Yeah,
down.
zombie look. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just my basin, which is yeah. I didn't know what to do to basin, and yeah, the yellow's quite bright and quite it pops, but I ended up liking that sort of look. I was going to do it a little bit more muted, a little bit more grounded in reality, but and I thought to myself, this isn't really a lot of these orcs or a lot of these factions. They're not from Earth, so I'll make it a little bit different. But yeah, I had even it's such a small detail, but I had a lot of fun painting that zombie or that that human that's been decayed for quite some time.
That's incredible, man. I like the
And I
red on
love
the
my
squig eye too.
yeah. With that, I'd normally do Doomball Brown, which is like a really sort of reddish brown. Use that as a base coat and then start glazing up to more of a red color. You can tell I love my top knots because even on that orc, he didn't come with one, but I put a top knot on him. So that's the knob and smasher squig. I put a top knot on him. Not sure why, but I really like top knots. I guess it probably like a nod back to the past, maybe. that I don't
Funnily
use
enough,
quite as much now.
I'm the opposite. I cut the top knots off all my orcs.
Yeah, cut them off and send them to me.
Well, right now I cut them off and put them on the helmets of my white scars.
Nice. Yeah, so on my Instagram, I document a little bit of when I do a YouTube video. I might post that I've done one, or I might just tell you what project I'm working on at the time. Sometimes I put finished pictures, or sometimes I put, like a mid stage of what I've been doing. So yeah.
Oh, Marcos, I'm sorry, I missed that earlier. Refried beans are your favorite. I had never actually eaten, because we were talking about breakfast at the time. I had never actually eaten refried beans with eggs before until I moved to Texas. But once I did, I was like, why haven't I been doing this my whole life? Oh my God, this is so good.
I noticed people say barbecue a couple of times as well. That would be one of my favorite foods. I like meat that has that smoky, charred sort of flavor to it.
Oh yes,
Absolutely amazing.
I'm
So
a
much flavored.
I'm a ribs guy. Like, if my favorite kind of barbecued food is definitely ribs. I like brisket. I like pulled pork, but ribs are my jam. Beef, pork, don't matter. Dude, those skeleton dudes look really good. I know there's a proper name for them. And
Oshriarch Bone
there we go.
Reapers. Such a strange name. They're my brothers. He was trying to come up with a scheme he wanted, so he gave me a couple and said, paint them how I wanted. And this is what I was talking about earlier on, how I really enjoyed painting the bone. And as you can see, I've left the really dark browns in the creases and built up to that brighter bone color. Had a lot of fun doing that. And the one before was like more of a ghosty sort of color scheme, where it was like those ghosty sort of greenish blue tones to it.
That was a great picture of you. Definitely bears some resemblance to a picture I allegedly may or may not have stolen to make this thumbnail.
I'm pretty happy with that skin tone. That's just building up again from a dark to basically the color scheme I've said a few times, that Elysian green. I found that auric flesh is pretty damn close to that. And then just adding that little bit of yellow to it. I use Flash Gitch yellow just because it's bright, and then mixing that with a little bit of green just really makes it pop at the last stage. And you glaze that over a few times just to really. And then the good thing about glazing, if it gets a little bit too bright, like, oh, that's a little bit too bright, you can tone it back down by just glazing a little bit of like add a little bit more green, or just use your green by itself just to sort of tone it down.
And Flash Hits is a pretty thin yellow to begin with, so I bet that mixes in nicely with those.
Yeah, quite a transparent one, so you're sort of relying on the undercolor as well. You sort of putting over the green, so you know that the green's going to show through a little bit.
I really like that the one with the mohawk, the one you did as a memorial piece for Rivets and DACA. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, so that, unfortunately, rest in peace to him. He was a great guy, but you was a part of it as well. That speed painting challenge, painting an orc in 5 minutes. And because Rivets and DACA or Gar, he'd always sort of almost bring me into stuff. He would mention me quite a lot on his channel. Me and him got along quite well. So when he got tagged in that by Twisted Dice, tagged him or asked him to be a part of it, one of the people that he said he wanted to tag or see do it was me. So what I did is I made my orc to look and sort of represent Garzinski. So he was a bit of a biker in his prime. He was like a guy that was into bikes. He hit, as anyone that's seen him knows, he had a mohawk.
Yeah.
So I had that heads that had the mohawk, and I had the body. These came from third parties. I think it was either Cromlech or Spellcrow. Had that jacket that looked like a biker's jacket. I had that, so I put that on. And
I think I recognize that as a Spellcrow sculpt.
Yeah.
Gee, do you sketch? Is that you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I haven't for years. I actually did that when I was still at school. So that was from
Oh,
an old Chaos from Fantasy book. So you know how amazing the Warhammer art is. It's absolutely beautiful. But that was like, yeah, I did that at school. It was basically it was just one of the tasks, and you can obviously choose what you want to do. I was into Warhammer at the time, so yeah, it was a Warhammer Chaos Warrior.
that's pretty
I
cool,
spent a
man.
little bit of time with it, just adding those textures and the little details and stuff like that.
It looks amazing, man.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
Your orcs. I gotta tell you, man. I'm really impressed with your orcs because you give a lot of fleshness to them. It's like you make them alive, and I love how you see a lot of the red tone underneath them. Where it imitates blood or some kind of circulation of some sort. I mean, even these cuts. I mean, they're nasty. So cool, man.
Yep,
I mean, I've
Spud
spent.
says your green is proper lovely.
Yeah, it is, man.
I appreciate that, Spud. Yeah, he does some good orcs as well. But that's one reason why my armies never sort of are fully, I never show, here's my whole army because I spend so much time. Even these four dudes I'm working on right now, most people would say do a couple of layers and sort of that's it, which is fair enough. That will get them on the tabletop painted quicker. But I just tried to speed paint, and then I ended up like this was a test piece for my beast snaggers, and I put way too much work in. Where now I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to make them all sort of that standard. So but yeah, I do really enjoy it, and when I paint other stuff, like even the crawl boys, they're a lot different. They're orcs, but they're a lot different to our classic Warhammer orcs. And there's so much. The scale is so much smaller compared to the new orcs. But just anytime I paint something different, I'm like, yeah, I enjoy it. But then when I come back just to an orc with green skin and some fur and some armor, I just all of a sudden it's like I fall back in love with them again. Kind of
That's
funny and
awesome.
weird.
Not funny, not weird at all. You like what you like.
Yeah, that's it. And I like other stuff, but then you realize what you definitely love or what you definitely enjoy painting.
Exactly.
I'm sure everyone's the same. I'm sure you guys are the same. You go into other armies and you do other stuff, and yeah, it's enjoyable and different, and you gain skill in a different way. And but then when you come back to what you know and love, it's like you're like, it's almost a relief, like back to know what I know.
I definitely felt a bit of that when I had painted a few different things, then eventually came back to Space Marines because of the familiarity, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Not that I think, not that I have a better time painting up Space Marines than other stuff. I think the funnest thing I've painted are the orcs, honestly. But for sure, just the familiarity is definitely a factor.
And I think that's why a lot of people, like how we've spoke about in chat and stuff, even today, that a lot of people want to try orcs because they're just so. I'd say that as well. They're so different in both Age of Sigma or Warhammer 40,000. They're just there's nothing else in there like that. You've got a lot of different Marines, and yeah, they're different colors and different little bits and pieces, accessories. There's nothing like orcs that you can say, oh, besides another orc. You can't really. Yeah, that's the cruel boy on the left hand side, and then you've got your traditional orc on the right, and you can sort of see the proportions and the scales different. Like the head, yeah, that's a cruel boy there. You can see that the head's smaller. It's a little bit more realistic where the head's
Mm-hmm.
smaller and the proportions are a bit different. They're not those huge brutes that everyone knows as orcs. They're not huge like hulks with muscles and heads the size of footballs. They're a little bit more, yeah, toned down, and they're fun to paint. But I mean, the faces on some of them are so small. You can't put as much detail as I can. I can't glaze them as much. I can't add the little details to make them pop. And that was me trying to come up with like a speed painting, like a quick scheme. Like, this is trying to, and yeah, even when I've done that, I look at it and I see stuff that I could improve or stuff that I could keep on working on to make it pop a little bit more. Or take care, Spud. He said that he's going back to sleep or going to
Yeah,
sleep.
man, get some rest, bud.
Good night, bud. My brother, you've
Yeah.
started a lot of brush fires tonight.
Yeah, it's giving me a lot of good ideas though. That time.
That's why as well, sometimes when I do the painting videos, I want to help other people who might want to improve, but I feel that I sometimes need a bit more one-on-one with someone. They can tell me because a lot of times my younger brother comes to me and he'll ask me how to do stuff because he knows that I've always been, even when we was younger as kids, I always used to be a little bit better at drawing than him and a little bit better at painting and stuff. So he'd always come to me. One thing I remember myself and my brother used to do, we used to like say, "Oh, let's draw a goblin or something." We both do our own versions of it. That used to be a great pastime. You come up with something, you both do, and yeah, I always have liked if someone sort of wants to improve. I'm always sort of there to try and help them.
That's
Sort of
awesome.
speaking of that, me and War, of the Facebook page, we've got Warhammer, the Warhammer 40k Beast Snaggers page. Him and myself have started a Discord, and we was going to call it just like Beast Snagger Boys, but he likes Age of Sigmar and stuff as well. So I said to him, I've always had this idea of calling it Gorka Morka's Workshop, like a nod to Games Workshop, but also in that way we can cover anything that's green skin, and we've even got a section for if people want to share their Space Marines and stuff. But yeah, we started a Discord recently. One idea was though that maybe if people do see my work and want to sort of improve, I mean, I don't feel I'm the best. I always try to push myself and always see room for improvement. And that's how I've always been because I'm a drawer and stuff like that as well. I've drawn ever since I was little. So, sometimes I show pet stuff that I'm a little bit cringy in my mind, and they'll say, "Oh, that's brilliant" and stuff. But I always see the room for improvement. But if people want to sort of work with me in that way, I was gonna do like say a live chat, or you can do video chats and stuff like that on Discord, and maybe work one-on-one with people or whatever like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm signed up, and let me get that Discord invite real quick.
Freaks flipping through now the lizard men, so that's I haven't painted lizard men in for so long, and yeah, they were really fun to paint actually because it brought back a lot of memories of me playing with lizard men and being really into lizard men.
There are some very cool sculpts with the lizard men. I mean, I just like dinosaurs, so obviously that's my favorite reason for those. Let's see.
Yeah, so our Discord, but we want to sort of create a community, obviously around orcs. As I said, we have a non-orc section where you can share anything you want, and if people want to discuss it. But we're trying to build a community, and what we want to do is eventually, like in April, a few people were saying they want to do sort of like challenges or that sort of stuff. So I was thinking maybe in April, anyone could paint up any orc they wanted, but it can be Age of Sigmar, it can be 40k, it can even be third party, from a different company. I just thought there's a couple of people that said that I guess it's like a lot of us, they need that push, they need something to sort of ignite that fire for them to sort of push themselves,
little motivation
to do something.
Sure.
Yeah, that's it. So if we do an April challenge, everyone can sort of work on it, we can share it, we can all bounce off each other, say people can share their work, and sometimes sharing your work along, you share it in stages. Sometimes that inspires you because people say, "Oh yeah, that's looking good," and I can't wait to see it finished and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then also, like, when you just see the end result and you don't know how they got there, it feels unachievable.
Yeah.
Wow.
But seeing the progress, I think, makes it more realistic.
And as we've discussed tonight, sometimes a lot of more beginners will slap paint on because you'll see the black undercoat, especially like Freak was saying about using yellow. Well, you don't actually use like a bright yellow over a black, otherwise you're just setting yourself up for failure doing that. You want to go from a brown, or some people use pink undertones, some
Right.
people use reds. You know, I have found using normally I build up from a Rhinox hide, which is a dark sort of like a dark chocolate color, and then I'll build up to a milk chocolate color, like a little bit more of a warm brown, and then that's when I'll start adding my darker yellows, and then once you build up those layers, then you start adding the really bright yellow in, you start glazing and using thin layers of that, so it's showing those dark browns and it's showing those dark yellows underneath. I mean, I didn't ever really know that as a kid as well. I mean, we didn't have YouTube back then when I was painting. We didn't have, like these ways to learn and teach.
Right.
So,
Oh,
I would.
I learned so much on YouTube, man. It was just crazy, especially when it came to the airbrush. Man, if it weren't for YouTube videos, man, I don't think I'd be painting right now.
So, I mean, say like painting white over a black prime or a black undercoat.
Right.
You try to sometimes put it on fairly heavy because you keep on seeing the black underneath, and you're like, how am I going to get rid of that black showing through? So you feel, oh, maybe I'll just use a little bit thicker paint, and it doesn't really work out like that. It doesn't look smooth and nice, and sort of a bit disheartening. And really, if you want to build,
mistake I kept making was not giving it enough time to dry, because you're discouraged by the amount of black you see underneath, so you keep going over it, and you get the streaky kind of
chalkiness to it.
Yeah
Definitely. I mean, we all have to learn some way. Even me looking at when I got back into the hobby a couple of years ago, some of the models that I first did look like trash really compared to now. You can definitely see the progress. And some of my older iron jaws, I almost feel like I might spray them black again and start again, and just like these little techniques that you pick up.
I feel that way with a lot of my work. I have repainted a lot of my work, but I still have like one squad of blood claws that I'll never change.
Yeah, I've still got some models from when I was a kid, and I wasn't a terrible painter back then, but it's kind of funny but cool to look at them. You're like, I was like, 14 or 12 or whatever when I painted that.
Awesome.
I just posted your Discord into the chat. If anyone wants to check it out, that is G's Discord. And you can definitely hang out with him there, get some feedback from him, one-on-one sessions, or just have a place to gather with friends, guys.
So it is kind of more an orky Discord, but if you want to share, your Tau, your Space Marines, your Necrons, your Elder, whatever, I'm happy to help any way that I can, or even just to share your work. It doesn't have to be orcs.
It's awesome.
Oh, man.
Good stuff. Well, I had a bunch of art of the week, but man, we've had such a great time just chatting. I think we're right up to the last minute. Would you be okay with taking a minute or so to look at some of Grumpy's work? Grumpy sent a gift specifically for you this week.
I'm sure he said he was going to do it. So yeah, let's.
Here we go.
It's the top of art of the week, and then we can get to the other stuff on the list whenever we start next time.
Okay. Let's see.
He actually done some Imperial Guard that wasn't Basin material, right?
Now, I'm gonna let him see.
Oh no! When you say that, I've got just the bad.
You said it's the top of the Art of Week mythos.
Yeah, it's right underneath all those articles I posted, because I accidentally posted the articles to Art of the Week.
All right.
There's
All right, I see. Okay, I see the articles, and I see some Imperial Fist stuff. All right, let's talk about this one.
Yes, starting there.
And that's a levy.
Yep, it's an Imperial Fist Levy.
That is gorgeous.
Look at the weathering on them barrels.
Grumpy, man. He's so full of talent.
It's nice, smooth yellow, well shaded. Very
Yeah,
subtly
that
shaded.
was-
It's subtly, yeah. I was gonna say it's subtly shaded. It's not uber pronounced, but he's looks really good.
Look at the weathering on those barrels, though. Like those are correctly weathered.
Don't start with me then. See. You know, I still have a levy that I haven't finished, man. This is really good.
I think that levy. I know you want to put it in your fists. I think that levy would go even better in your Templars.
Yeah, maybe.
Because you get some firepower there. You get some punching power.
The amount of work that Grumpy does is just crazy.
Yeah, how
Yes.
he's a factory.
Yeah. See, if that was me, in about 4 years, I might have an Imperial Fist army, and that's one reason is because I use brush. I mean, if I was painting Imperial Fist, I'd probably go out and get a yellow spray just to speed it up a little bit. Get
I
that base
really
coat down.
like the shading on the Contemptor here, especially on the pauldrons.
Yeah, and it's just a little bit of that tobacco look.
I love his basin as well. It looks so realistic, like it's grounded in reality.
Yeah.
You know, I need to get his advice on that, because anytime I'm thinking about doing rubble basing for an army, I'm like,
Yeah.
looks like I got a
I need
pile
to
of
improve as
rocks
well.
there, or a pile of something there. But like his rubble is really good. It looks like rubble.
Yeah.
And I've tried looking up tutorials on rubble, and I don't feel like I can get there. This looks so good.
Yeah.
He's even got like little wires and stuff in there. It's just crazy
Mhm.
good.
Me mentioning that I think your levy would do better in your Templars.
Yeah.
Brother Oni goes, I'll paint a levy.
We'll see.
Oh, that's so cool. I have one of those that I intended to put with my Space Wolves and just never got around to painting. It's half painted on the shelf right now.
Damn.
That looks awesome.
It's
The
so good.
reds and
Really well
stuff.
done.
Yeah,
Like-
it is.
I like that he went the extra mile and put the Imperial Fist decal on the belt buckle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a crazy flex! Like, oh, you guys struggle with
With decals? Watch
I can
me.
use them as belt buckles. Like, he's so
hold-
good.
Hold my beer. Look at this, man. Amazing.
That cape looks great.
I'm wondering if he's printed any of this, because I know he does a lot of printing. So
Oh, like the rubble,
yeah, or at
Maybe.
least so I don't know. It's
like parts of it.
Wow.
I do
It's
remember
one of
I
those
asked
new
him
Imperial Fist
recently-
models that came out last year. Yeah.
Yeah. God, I love that pose.
I do remember I asked him recently, and I'm pretty sure he said cork.
Really?
We mainly use, but as you guys said, some of them look like they're quite. Like,
Really solid. They look solid. Yeah.
What? Maybe it's a combination. Like maybe he prints, some of the rubble to supplement his cork.
yeah, and then you can tell that he uses sand or like little bits of gravel there. But
He
as
didn't
we've
hand-
said, it
he
just
didn't hand
combines
paint that,
together
did
real.
He said to let you know that everything is decals, no freehand.
Okay. It's fair. That's fair.
I've never seen a decal that
No, that-
detailed, but that
I
might be
will
one of the
like it.
Forge World ones.
Yeah, that looks so. Oh my god, I love the helmet, the brush thingy.
With that plume bit. Yeah,
Yes,
that's so
I
good.
love it though because you can see it. It's not all red. He.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
There are individual hairs.
very
picked out.
well weathered in it. Oh my goodness. Oh, Grumpy, why do you want to do
Technique
this?
is everything. Freaks looking for kill marks.
Damn. That looks... I really like that.
That's really brilliant work.
The weathering is
consistent
what
through the
gets
whole
me.
army as well. Like how consistent they are. Obviously, they're from the same sort of detachment, but they really look like that. Like each one, the level of shading and armor is just really pulls them all together.
Oh, that's cool. I've seen a few of these dual wielding guys.
What kind of weapon is that?
It's a 30k weapon. I think those are Volkite weapons. I can't remember though. But just so cool. It's a 30k model that doesn't have a rule set in 40k. Man, it looks cool.
I love the helmet on the ground, like the dead. I'm guessing that's a Chaos Marine. It looks like.
Yeah, it's an Iron Warrior. So he does the okay. Seeing it from the side, it's definitely a Volkite. But yeah, the his Iron Warriors have Imperial Fist spacing. The Imperial Fists have Iron Hand spacing. So
yeah, that's so good because it just feels like you're pulled into that battle. It's like,
right.
You know, everything's killing each other, and just that's so good.
Ooh, an apothecary.
Got a sword? A chainsword?
Oh, it's part of the apothecary gauntlet.
Oh,
It's a saw on the wrist of the Narthesium gauntlet.
Bone saw or something.
Yeah, so it's there so they can either, do battlefield amputations or things like if, the Marine is beyond saving, he can extract their gene seed organs.
Because Grumpy's a little bit like me. He does a lot of unboxings and stuff on his YouTube channel, but he's pulling out some amazing.
Oh my God.
It's probably similar to me. Sometimes when you get in the zone, it kind of stresses you out a little bit, having a camera, having to make sure you're in. Because even when I've done that skull, I had to make sure I was in frame and stuff a lot. So sometimes it takes you out of the focus that you want to paint. And obviously, when you don't have a phone shoved down filming, and you don't even have that stress of, I need to make sure that this looks good for camera and make sure that I'm getting decent brush strokes and all that stuff.
I have attempted that a few times, and just the way he manages, the way anybody manages to keep all that like perfectly on screen is always impressive. Rubble is about the smallest of details. Hit me up. This is something I can contribute to. Yes. Maybe that'll be the basing for my guardsman army. Maybe I'll have them in Rubble.
Yeah, I want to do that for my Gaz skull. So I've got my Beast Snaggers, which, as we looked earlier on, it has that sort of bright, sandy looking color. I want to do my Gaz skull in like him, Mega Knobs, and maybe a detachment of boys or whatever. I want to do them in sort of. I kind of always have liked Halo and stuff like that, and with the Covenant, the aliens, they come and they fight the Spartans. A lot of times they're on planets that have just all been blown apart, and you got all that rubble, all that rock.
So to go with that amazing Imperial Fist stuff I just sent you, sending you a screenshot of the message that Grumpy had for you. Moriat, that's the name of the 30k model that we were talking about. Talking about that rubble. Hellwork says that was court covered with putty and sanded. Nice. And then Superfly said also looks like there was some of Geek Gaming Scenic's rubble blend. Nice. And Hellworks has a Moriat too. His is kit bashed.
Very nice. Thank you, Grumpy. Thank you for having a little mercy on me, man. I couldn't handle another night, another weekend of just my dead Imperial Fist, man. And your stuff looks gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous.
Freaking sleep well tonight.
Well, I mean, this is just like this calm before the storm, because I know what he's gonna do. He's just gonna, he's just like, yeah, here you go. Here's something that'll shut you up, freak. And then he'll come back and just stab me right in the booty hole. Guarantee you, this is gonna happen.
The Imperial Fist that you saw that was sawn in half is from Mavericks Paint, and that was sent to me courtesy of Gorka Marcos, brother Marcos, because he said that freak was gonna love that.
Yeah, I saw that
And
bullshit. Yeah,
so it's
that's total
I love
bullshit.
how that's become a meme.
Yeah, hey, let's piss Freak off. Let's send him some effed up Imperial Fist. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Oh, it's
Great way to get brownie
hilarious.
points. Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. Well, I think looking at some amazingly painted Imperial Fists is a great note to end on for the night.
I liked it.
That was
Definitely liked it.
that was some beautiful work.
Absolutely,
Yeah, yours was.
Yeah, I was about to say yours as well, definitely.
I appreciate that, but Grumpy.
Oh, Grumpy's just grumpy. He's grumpy.
both of you that we showed tonight, both you and Grumpy, had some amazing work tonight,
You guys are just...
and your work had a lot of burning brushes in our chat. So.
Dude, I'm serious. You gave me a lot of great ideas for my orcs, and I kind of want to steer away from finishing up there so I can actually start painting orcs again. Dude, you really got some great ideas. The details are just on point, and I really like how you flesh out the orcs. They're not just like, I'm looking at mine and it's just green, and it's like, oh man, there's no undertone. It's like dark green, light green, all the different. Now, when I painted Mythos' War Boss, I did spend the time, and I even I put I underlined all the veins, and then I went back and I lightly painted so you can see some of that come through, right? Instead of the the red, it came through as almost like a dark purple look, kind of like real veins do, right? And I don't know why I didn't bother pushing that through to my own orcs as well, but yeah, I really like what you do, because you start off with that red tone and then you just kind of build up on it and just looks like you're fleshing them out. They're really good, man. Oh
yeah.
Appreciate that. When I'm doing just green, that's why I've said put a bit of yellow into it, just so again it goes from that dark green into the shadow areas to a lighter green, and then you sort of have that yellowness.
yeah.
You can have it of different stages. If you don't want it too bright, you just add a little dot of yellow. If you want it quite a bright skin tone.
So the red that you see between the webbings, and do you undercoat that first and then you build up on that, or you do that after?
Normally I'd go through all of the skin and add that red, and then build up the sort of glaze or layers, and then glaze the greens. With my crawl boys, the skinnier orcs that I've been doing, the one that has that huge skull, I've actually been using a burgundy color to try a little bit of a different technique.
Okay.
So on that one, you can see it if you ever see the skull tutorial that I did, you can see right at the end, basically I go over the whole skin with this burgundy color and then start layering the green. And then with the beast snaggers, the red ones that you're referring to, I use those reddy tones, and then I start. You almost want to go over the raised areas, so you want to leave the red in, sort of
in the recesses,
the creases, and then start layering some greens over it, and then just build up. It does take a while, It's not the same as just say doing a green undercoat and a little bit of layer of another green.
Right.
But yeah, it's. As mentioned, I always try to come up with different techniques, different ways of doing the orcs, and yeah, there's a few different techniques that I've came up with now. But
so I'm gonna put you on a spot, and I hadn't talked to Mythos about this, but this is something that I like you to think about, man. Since you're an amazing orc painter, could you consider coming back to the show and do a tabletop, just a hangout, showing us, how you're painting your orcs, and you can do it live, here, but just a good camera tabletop down, where you're just doing your deal, doing your craft, and we can, hang out with you, but we can learn along with you as well. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, you don't have to answer now if you don't want to, but just something to think about.
Hey, man.
I think that would be freaking amazing.
I'd be absolutely honored, and I appreciate you guys even, thinking of me to do that. And as you guys know, and I mentioned before, I'm always happy to help anyone. What I was going to say as well, I've got G the Hypersapien on Facebook. I've got it on Instagram. We've got the Discord going now. So if anyone ever wants to hit me up to talk to me, you feel free. My inbox is always open. You can. What I was going to say is as well, while we've been talking, I'll show what I've done today. I'll post them on probably Instagram, Facebook page, so you guys can see and then I'll share it to our chat as well, so all you guys can see. But the audience that may not be sort of in our chat, they can share and sort of they can show me what they can show me what they've been doing, and I can sort of say a few things that I might do to help. But yeah, to touch on what you said, I'm happy to come back anytime you guys want me.
Oh God, that would be amazing. Because I'll be honest with you. I mean, we've got a huge orc following, man. We really do. I mean, the community here. I mean, it's almost like I think it's more orcs and space wolves than Imperial anyway. So
I think out of the 11 people that watch us, easily 9 of them like orcs.
Yeah, oh absolutely, and they love your work. So I really would love to. I love to learn from you. I like to see how you do your stuff. Give me the ideas. It would be a good time to hang out, and then just kind of get to learn a little bit of your technique and see what works, So
Frost Fist and War.
Heck yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That'd be amazing, man.
And also my idea would be if we can even get the same model, or we can just do an orc boy or an orc knob, we could all do it at once if you want as
that's
well.
fair.
It would be a cool, like we could all work on an orc, and I'm here if you want to ask, and I'll just show you as well how I do. We can pick it, as I said, there's a few different schemes I do.
Okay. As
you'll see with the iron jaws, they're a little bit more like a comic book Hulk.
Right.
Sort of doing like a brighter color, but I know you really like the red undertones.
Yeah.
So we can do that one. And normally I get my wet palette, and as I said, I use like a red. I put down a little bit of Bugman's Glow, which is like a human flesh tone, and then I'll put a few different greens down, and then you sort of sometimes go back and forth. Say you lay down your reds and your human skin tones, and then you start building up your greens. But if it's starting to lean a bit too much like green, like as you saw with that guy that we saw before, it has the reddish in between his knuckles and in between his fingers. If you start losing that, you can go back in with like a thinned down paint and start adding that reddish pinkish tone back to those areas. Same with the muscles. If the muscles are looking a little bit too much green, like if you've covered a little bit too much, you can go back and you can put in like a wash consistency, like a thin down paint. You can put that in the creases again, so it sort of helps give that effect again of having that sort of looking like it's sort of more realistic, where when you see lizards and stuff, they might have greens and brown skins, but a lot of time you can see that little bit of red. Right. You can see the blood flow.
Right.
You can see the blood flow.
Yep.
Yeah, under their belly or whatnot.
Yeah, that's a great way to flesh it out. Yeah, I love it, man.
So yeah, I always appreciate you guys. Even back when I was starting the channel, you guys sort of plugged me a few times and just asked for people to sub. You guys have always supported me. I'm always here to support you guys and just help you any way I can, for sure.
We appreciate that, man. Awesome. Absolutely. Oh yeah.
You've got the boys from the new Start Collecting set for Orc, right? Or what are they called? The Combat Patrol for Orcs,
Combat Patrol, yep. Yep.
And I've got some of the older Orc boys we could follow along with. So yeah, I mean, so I don't have the exact same Orc boy, but I think we could all do some Orc boys together. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be so much fun, man.
I forgot to mention at lunch today, brother. Next week, my plane won't be in time. My plane comes in at like 9 at night.
Okay.
So you will be solo again next week, unfortunately, if you're doing.
Yep. I'm trying to find somebody to come and hang out.
Get Commie or Big D or someone to come on.
Yeah, we'll see.
Or maybe he'll have a party without me. We were actually talking about that earlier yesterday, about doing a big chat, since we have this format now with the open screen of just
Have
the whole
everybody on
Zoom
it.
call.
Yeah.
Yeah, having a big party of like, however many of our friends want to hop in.
Yeah.
Where it's going to be a mess, we'll be talking over each other, but it'll be fun. I just posted everywhere people can find you. Well, the major ones. YouTube, Funkin' Hungry as well, Facebook, Insta. Oh, you can also find him at Funkin' Hungry on Facebooks too, and post up whatever delicious eats you've got going on. Your group, Funkin' Hungry. There we go. Yeah,
so
if you guys
Funkin' Hungry, if I ever got big enough, it would be good to start trying like other cultures. Like I want to, you was talking about Thai food. I'd love to get into those cultures that I've always appreciated and loved their cuisine, but just showcasing it and stuff. That's why I love when you post, when like me first post like, your food or whatnot. It's just so different.
I especially love posting whenever I go visit my grandmother. Those couple of times actually got some attention. So,
yeah. Amazing stuff.
Awesome. Do you have any closing thoughts for us, brother?
Well, as I said, I just appreciate you guys. You've always been there. You've always been so supportive to me, so friendly, and you've opened up yourselves to me, like let me have a platform. Like when we do Art of the Week, sometimes back when I was a little bit more, should I share this stuff? You've always just been really friendly and just, been really nice about my work, and it just sort of inspires me to keep going. So I just want to say that I appreciate and thank you to Freak and Mephos and for letting me come on. And yeah, definitely looking forward to having a hobby hangout where we all paint.
Awesome, man.
Awesome.
That'd be a lot of fun, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate the kind words, man. No, you're a badass now. You're an orc badass. You're like in a league beyond. So yeah, we're okay with that.
Much love, bro.
Posting food. What? The link just above your comment, Brother Thomas, is to the Funkin' Hungry Facebook group, and he encourages that we post up all kinds of delicious food, and you as a chef, man. I think we can definitely post in some good stuff over on Funkin' Hungry. So definitely join that Facebook group. All right, Freakalicious, my man. What you got for a poke chat?
Man, I really enjoyed it. Oh man, I learned so much from this guy.
You seem inspired to paint some orcs now.
I am. I really like. I'm sitting there looking at his stuff. Like, man, you know what? I could use that. I could do that. I could try that. It's really cool to be able to see other people's really cool work and then just try to incorporate it. And I think I can make it work. So it'll be a lot of fun to try out, man. So yeah, no, absolutely. Great guest, man. I tell you, you're an amazing guy, man. Thanks so much for coming around. Like I said, I can't wait to have you so we could just let everybody kind of see your magic. You're just doing your, get in the zone and you're just tearing up some work, man.
Much love, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Dude, I am so stoked. I think this is our third time working together. I think.
Yeah, first time with the legendary Freak. I have to just get in before we go. The Freak Breeding program. I have to mention it.
But
God damn it! I'll find it.
I have to mention it.
Oh
yeah,
man,
it's awesome.
You mentioned it. I gotta pull it up. So, geez.
But
awesome having the legendary Frost and Fist, though. A lot of times it's been a bit of the Frost and the War show, but now it's the Frost and Fist show. I've got the full experience.
You've got the full
one that
Well, when people come on, they can't wait to work with Freak. So.
Time flew.
Well, I
tried.
It really did. Every time I looked at the clock, it was like another 40 minutes had passed. Yeah, I was like, what the heck?
I try to bribe people that you might, if you come on the show, you might get a puppy thing.
A puppy.
You might get a little puppy. What does it look like?
You don't want to know.
What sort of breed is it?
Private kind of Yeah, we don't talk about it, you know. We just show it, and like you just
Bit of a mixed breed.
Yeah, again, we just, you know,
Oh my
A
gosh.
little bit of everything.
There we go. That's Freak Breeding Program brought to you by the Frost and Fist. As you can see, it's a very happy puppy thingy.
Do you know what we need? We need to find someone that can make that into a miniature, so you can actually get your own. How sick would that be? You know, find someone that can sculpt that. Like make a little version where we can like
3D print that thing.
We could release that for like our 1,000. I think I'm sure there's plenty of time before we get to 1,000.
God,
We could release that for our 1,000 sub.
We need to see if we said we could find somebody that can actually, you know, sculpt it and print it.
I'm sure there's people out there. I've sort of looked into sculpts before, and do that so when you hit 1,000, you know, people can help support the channel, fund the channel a little bit, get your own little freak.
What? No.
You could even have an have an exclusive of both of you.
Unfortunately, I think anyone we try to commission to do that would just not want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. They'd look at it and be like, I don't know what the hell, man.
Next second they're in a mental hospital, rocking in their chair. I tried to do it. I tried to finish it.
I gave it a try. I really did. But the face on the animal, I just couldn't get past it. Oh God!
The body was fine. Once I got to the face,
and the tongue. Why the tongue? Oh God! I can't get out of my mind. And we're like,
I know that I want my own little freak to paint. You know?
And we're like,
even like a
I don't see the problem here.
Bust size.
Like, I don't see the problem here. It's part of the freak breeding program. You know, it's just we can't tell you what we crossed it with. It's just there it is.
I feel ashamed that I'm about to post this.
Don't be ashamed. Nonsense. You're gonna post it in the Art of the Week? Whatever that one is. Well, the longer you take, the longer the people will definitely have to take a look at the.
I'm just sharing this with the world.
Oh, great.
If I was in chat right about now, I'd be putting up the ox symbol. Hey, I can do it. I'm getting ready for the moo.
So yeah, you know, before this was just an atrocity for people, you know, in our chat to see. But yeah, now it's shared with the world. What hell hath we unleashed? All right. Big shout out to our brother and sponsor. And did Brother Oni ever reopen his shop? I don't know.
Not yet. I don't think so.
Okay. Well, thank you to our brother and sponsor painting up a Templars and Ultramarine army for us here on the channel. That's amazing. And
good job, son.
And he's a brilliant commission painter. Shout out to Brother Oni,
My boy.
His son, our sponsor, Oni Studios. Amazing guy.
Yes.
Big shout out to G, the Hypersapien, who's funkin' hungry. And all the places you can find him. I just posted about 2 links above. There are 2 comments above. You can see a bunch of his YouTube channel, both G the Hypersapien and Funkin' Hungry, his Facebook group G the Hypersapien and Funkin' Hungry, and his Instagram account through G the Hypersapien. So check him out everywhere. A little above in the chat, you'll find his Discord. Hang out with him there, and you'll definitely be able to catch him here again on a future episode of Frosted Fist.
Hell yeah!
Thanks everyone so much for joining us tonight. If you guys, by the way, we are doing a hobby and hangout, so hit us up. Send us a message if you want to get in on the painting session we're about to do right now, offline, of course. If you guys like today's episode, grab up an ox and smash that like button in the name of the Emperor. And if you guys are not yet subscribed to G the Hypersapien or Funk and Hungry
Frosted Fist.
or Frosted Fist,
Those guys
then
too. Yeah.
we'd love to have you as part of the pack here at the Frosted Fist. Till next time, guys. Stay frosty.